Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel or you have not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, but most importantly, if you would like to join the debate, simply mute the page you are currently listening to, then click the link in the info box to join the discussion and express your views on the shape of the Earth. There are a couple of rules in the Hangout. Number 1, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. In a moment, I'm going to transition across to my photos so I can share the show and share the show link. If you are in the live stream currently, please also share the show on social media, as this increases the chances of a more diverse panel. One last time, if you are new to the show or you have not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. I will do a few shout outs in a minute, and I've just checked that the link has actually been published correctly. Tends to be the case that it doesn't. Oh no, it's worked. Excellent. First time for everything. Shout out to Ratio Perfect. Good to have you. The Rig, nice to see you. Baby Eleanor. Oh, how cute. Good to have you here, Baby Eleanor. The Rig. Who else we got? Anybody else? Stop in traffic. In my mega hat. Good to have you here. Stuart Melville, nice to see you. On a plane, good to have you. Vinegar Strokes, thanks for being here. James Collins, thanks for being in our live chat. Hooch, good to see you. Lottie Says, thanks for being here. Aaron Moorfield, I think that's pretty much it. Very nice to see you all. Good day to Was too, just in at the last. Oh, Flat Earth Destroyed as well. Hello to you too. We have been joined by Sleeping Warrior. Let's raise the mic on the Hangout, see if we can hear some noise. How you doing, Sleeping Warrior? Good to have you.
I didn't even realise you were live. When did you go live?
4 minutes ago.
Ah, okay.
Not very long.
We need Rumpus. Apparently, they're all claiming that we've been debunked on the Isle of Man.
Excellent.
Took 30 shows, loads of back and forth, and when we've kind of moved on from it significantly and moved into the new realms, it now appears that they're still claiming debunking, and Rumpus has got some presentation, probably to do with refraction. So, Rumpus, if you're out there, please do come in. Do it relatively soon, because I did tell you yesterday it would be about 11, and we are on time relatively. So please do come in promptly, and so we've got enough time. And with regards to Miles Davis, he claims that Miles, just show your evidence of the Isle of Man. Let's see that floaty land on the right-hand side. Because you're claiming all this nonsense, and it is just ridiculous. Miles, you're a liar. Produce the evidence. It's one little piece of evidence. Stop talking about wind turbines and peninsulas of land. Although, to be fair, Nathan, what he has presented is, do you remember that time when I first went there in summer and I rang you and we did a hangout and I said, I think I may have found evidence of curve.
Yes.
And it was that that peninsula of land that was like 5 miles away. And I said, do you know what? If I hadn't have had a decent camera that day, I'd have left thinking it was curvature. Well, he spotted the same thing. He spotted the actual same bit of land, and he spotted that if you change the elevation, it does in fact give you the perception of curvature. But obviously, he's passed it off as curvature and failed to realize that it's literally distortion of what we see at the horizon, and it isn't curvature at all. So he's noticed this, presented it as curvature, not talked about anything more than it being curvature. And now people that are stupid, that he didn't tell the whole story to, now believe that it's curvature, despite seeing proof that 140 miles is flat as a pancake. So, Imric, you now think we live on a ball because of a 5 mile observation? No, we do not live on a ball. What he's showing is not curvature. He's telling you it's curvature, but that don't make it true. He's showing you the effects of refraction right on the horizon, which are well known within flat Earth. They are not well known within ball Earth. So, Rick, stop being a dick because it isn't curvature. Miles, stop misrepresenting refraction. Refraction is a variation on the vertical aspect of what we see. It's defined clearly in the Standard Atmospheric Refractions article on the Metabunk site. There is no evidence whatsoever of curvature at 5 miles or whatever the distance is. Because if there was that evidence of curvature, Miles, it would be present at the 140 miles thing. So what you're doing is the same as what refraction soundly does. You're finding elements of refraction, calling it curvature, and then dumbass people don't realize what refraction is on the ball Earth model because it's not bendy light. It's the distortion of what we see, and it sits on the horizon almost. It's very close to the horizon, and it varies with temperature, varies with humidity, varies with the gas law in molar form, and the viscosity of the atmosphere. They're the variables that vary. So, Miles, please stop telling everybody it's curvature. You're being dishonest because if you don't know that it's not curvature, then you're just being reckless. But you do know it's not curvature because you've seen 140 miles and it's flat as a pancake. So stop being dishonest, Miles. Stop milking this, trying to make you brand a channel based on curvature that doesn't exist. Stop misrepresenting the real world. Stop lying. And Rumpus, if you can get your maths out, come on. I don't want to sit through all the mechanisms that you used. I don't care what maths you used. I'm interested in the results that you got from the maths that you used, and I want to cross-reference them with the evidence to see does it match. I want to apply the curve calcs to it to see how much should be obscured, and I want to see does that match the observation. So Rumpus, please don't present all your maths. Just present your results. We don't need to see the scientific method or the mathematical method. We don't need to see what you think. We need to just see what you've concluded based on your results, what you've calculated based on your results. So, come on, Rumpus, please. Play the white man.
Why do you want that? So, Rumpus has already lied to us once. He told us, Rumpus lied and said, I can calculate anything up and down the coast. Have you got your watch page on, by the way?
Oh, sorry, have I? No, I don't think I have.
All right. Weird.
Hang on, let me turn that down. Oh, hang on, it's because I got my mic on high. That should fix it. Is that better?
Yeah. So Rumpus told us he could identify anything up and down the coast of the Isle of Man using mathematics. Well, the last time he made a proper appearance, he did come on for a couple of seconds last show, but when he made a proper appearance, he used his mathematics to identify something, as he declared he could, and he couldn't. So he lied. He couldn't identify anything up and down the coast with mathematics as he claimed. So he's a liar.
Well, I don't think we should stoop to that level. I think he honestly believes that he can calculate it using maths.
He can't.
And I think he fails to realise that the maths he's applying is the wrong mathematics. Even though he'll get a result every time, it doesn't mean the result matches the real world. But he believes it. I honestly do believe he believes it. So I don't think we should actually call him a liar because that's what ballers do when we get things wrong. I think we should give Rumpus the benefit of the doubt because he's been genuinely relatively quite honest in comparison to Miles, who has blatantly lied, and he is a liar. So what we'll do is we'll give Rumpus the benefit of the doubt and say that he's just perhaps mistaken at this point. But it would be interesting to see how he deals with the rest of the hangout, because if he gets this wrong after being told it's not correct, if it doesn't match the observations, then his maths must be wrong. And given that he's claiming he knows all about the maths and we're saying you don't, then maybe he is carrying on a lie. But let's give him the benefit of the doubt at the moment and just perhaps let's say he's mistaken. What do you think, Nath?
I don't know. I'm still intrigued as to why he would lead the audience to believe that he'd got it all figured out. I mean, that to me is a deceit. He's saying to them, we're on a globe, and I know we're on a globe. The reason I know we're on a globe is because I can calculate any item up and down this coast because I figured it out based on us being on a globe and the mathematics thereof. Well, he was wrong. He couldn't.
Yeah, he was wrong. But does that mean he lied? Because with lying,
yes.
you have to have,
yes.
you must have an intention
absolutely.
to deceive.
He is telling us that we live on a sphere, and he is arguing that point. So absolutely, unequivocally, he is a liar.
Yeah, but the word lie means to deceive. You have to have the intention to deceive.
Yes, he's intending to deceive people into thinking they live on a globe.
Okay. Well, I would argue that Miles is deceiving people because he literally, Ranty said it wasn't the Bibby Wave Master. And Miles said, yes, it was, Ranty. You're a liar, Ranty. You're a liar. And then the next couple of shows later, Miles comes back and says, I never said it was the Bibby Wave Master 1. And he sat there, and you can listen to the tone in his voice. He's smiling when he actually says this. That is a deceit. He's deliberately lying. I don't think Rumpus is as low as that. I think Rumpus has made a mistake, perhaps, and he's got the misguided belief that we live on a ball, but I don't actually think he's intending to deceive at this point. However, I can see your point, and I don't necessarily disagree. I just think that we should give him a bit more benefit of the doubt because he's one of the more honest ones.
Yeah, fair enough.
And we'll get him if he's wrong anyway. If it doesn't match the evidence and it doesn't do what he thinks it's doing, then it will wash out. It will come out in the wash. So, in contrast to Miles, he's definitely not a liar. In contrast to Miles, Miles is the benchmark. It is not the Bibby. No, he started off by saying it is the Bibby Wave Master 1. You're a liar, Ranty. You're a liar. And then 3, 4, 5 shows later, he said, no, I never said it was the Bibby Wave Master 1. Thanks, Ranty. And I was like, are you kidding me? I heard you say that. So Ranty then did a video and he just played it back and forth. He played the 2 lines. I never said it was the Bibby Wave Master 1. And then he said, it is the Bibby Wave Master 1, Ranty. You're a liar. So he was literally saying black and white, the opposites, and claiming that he'd said them both, claiming that he'd said both of them like correctly. And I can understand entirely why Ranty was fuming. We moved on because it had nothing to do with the shape of the earth. But Ranty was quite correct to be angry with that. And his correct video, his following video, was mirrored by me because it was absolutely right. Miles is a liar. You cannot take anything that guy says to be true. There's a difference between making a mistake and lying, and he knew that he did not have that position. He flip-flopped, just like Wallace did in the Bedford Levels experiment. He lied. He took credit for something that he didn't have right. Miles is no better than Wallace. I didn't even realize you were live. Pop out the chat. If anybody knows where Rumpus is, put out a flag. Let's minimize that. Pop out the chat. Do you know, I've just realized as well. Just whilst we're here as well, late last night I was getting ready for going to bed, and I saw in Discord that Slice Arcane was doing a live hangout with Sean, on this issue. And I haven't seen anything from Sly for months and months. I like the guy, but there's no way that guy realized that guy cannot fail to realize that we are not on a ball because there's no curve. There really is no curvature. However, I tried to get in there because they were making like they were talking about one of the points they were talking about was dealt with in probably the first or the second hangout, which is weeks ago now. And oh, am I still here? Nathan, am I still here? Oh, I am on. I thought I'd been kicked. I need to find the watch screen. Where's the watch screen gone? Not that one. That one. All right, skip that ad. Oh yeah, I am still on. Okay, so sorry, I thought I'd been kicked.
No, you're still here. You're still here.
Yeah, I didn't realize I was still here. I thought I'd been kicked. It's okay, right? So Sly was on with Sean. Now, anytime Sean's on, he misrepresents me all the time. The guy has no concept whatsoever of the importance of correct and accurate citation. Because if you incorrectly cite somebody, you then go off on a tangent that's completely irrelevant, and he does it all the time. Anyway, I saw in Discord that they were on, and I thought, well, okay, I'll go in and see if I can chat because I haven't seen Sly for ages. Anyway, I tries to get in, and I listened to, when I joined. They were talking about Spurs Chemo and how he was trying to get on. And as I joined, basically Sly was saying that I am not letting anybody on that does not do their own research. So I was like, great, I should be well in there then. Come on, give us a link. I asked and asked and asked and asked.
Hey, guys.
Hi, Bruce Banner. How are you doing?
Good morning, guys. I finally found time to get here.
Excellent.
Cool.
Good to have you.
Don't let me interrupt. Keep going.
Thanks. So I asked him for a link, and he said, I'm not going to give you a link until you agree that you won't snipe anybody. Now, bear in mind, this is my favorite topic at the minute. I ain't sniping either of these two. These two yahoos are staying in. If anything, I'll be keeping them ball and chained, stay in the hangout, not getting rid of them. And so I obviously agreed. I said, no, of course, I'm not going to snipe you. Let's do this. So Sly started waffled and bumbled a bit. And by the way, at this point, he's doing maths, and his maths is failing miserably. He can't get things to do what he wants them to do. Might have been because it was trial and error being done live. Might have been the software, but nonetheless, it wasn't making himself look particularly good, given that he claims to be excellent on the mathematics side of things. So I'm asking him to join, and I'm asking him, and what he's trying to do is he's trying to have the disagreement with me in text. Now it's like gone 11, right? And I'm ready for bed, and I'm not interested in texting. You either give me a link or I'm gone because I've got better things to do. If I want to do this, but I want to be in the hangout. I don't want to be in text because I can't be asked. You know what I mean? It's late at night. I'm ready for bed. I don't want to be texting. And I do my own research, so I'm in. Everybody in chat was asking me to join. Come on, Sly, give him a link, get him on the panel. This would be good because I'm up against two of my favorite retards. However, he weren't giving me a link. So I'm asking, and I asked him about 8 times, give me a link. And then on the final occasion, I was like, come on, you either give me a link or I'm gone. I've got better things to do with my time this time of the night, i.e. sleep. Anyway, I didn't get the link. So I just said, gents, I'm going to leave you to it. Enjoy your echo chamber. So I went. But it's funny that he was citing Spurs Chemo for not doing his own research and for the reason for not letting him in. I should be in based on that criteria. When I asked to join, he said, okay, you can come in, but you can't snipe us. And I wouldn't snipe either of them. I want them both there. I still never got the link. So Sly ran. But then he accused me of running. I asked him about 10 times. I'm doing a quick video now about how many times I actually asked for the link. I asked and asked and asked and asked and asked and asked. And in the end, I just got cheesed off and went to bed. But he's obviously then the minute I left, he said, Riley ran. And I'm like, no, dude, I asked and asked and asked. So basically, the point is that so long as it looks like they're winning, and so long as it looks like they've got the upper hand, they will make it look that way and claim victory, just like Wallace did in the Bedford Levels experiment. So, Sean, if you're listening and you're going to cite me, cite my words exact. Stop being a bitch and misrepresenting me. You do it all the time and it's wrong. Sly, I do like you. I like your videos. Your work is quite cool. However, there's no way that you've not realized that we live on a flat plane, because there is no curvature. And every time you see curvature, Sly, it's always perspective, but you're too dumb to realize the difference between perspective and curvature. Atmospheric horizon block, obstruction on the horizon. That ain't curvature. That's what Miles does. Just because there's something that's like reflecting on top of the water does not make it curvature. It's atmospheric. It's optical. Yeah, you dumbasses can't see it. It's stupid. Really is stupid. Anyway, where were we? So, I can't see what your name is because I can't see the icons. I'm sorry, sir. I can't see your name. So, have you found any curvature recently?
No, not at all. In fact, just looking at all the flat pictures that are coming out on Twitter in the early morning of the horizons, or the sun coming over the morning.
Yeah. Well,
I just wanted to speak really quickly, and I don't know if I'm speaking about the same thing you are, because honestly, I have a hard time matching the accents with people sometimes, and I get confused. But yesterday morning was just disgusting. And I don't even know if it was the same gentleman that was trying to pin someone for making $6 an hour and also trying to pin Nathan for being a terrible parent. When the science breaks down, that's what you turn to.
Yeah, of course, that is what they turn to. When the science breaks down, it becomes ad hom.
Disgust. I mean, that wasn't even ad hom. Ad hom is complete euphemism for what that was. That was disgusting humanity at its worst. I am so sorry you had to put up with that, Nathan. Your children are healthy, beautiful. You're great for being a dad. I don't even know if that person was a dad. I highly doubt it.
I just want to reference something in chat based on Sly. Sly realizes that the elevation height was contentious, right? But Sly's not been keeping up to date with the flat Earth debate. Sly thinks that the elevation height is contentious now. However, the reality is, even if it was only the Isle of Man that we're seeing, the elevation height is no longer contentious because the amount of hidden that's supposed to be behind the curve far exceeds the possibility of even magic maths and magic ordnance survey elevations and all that. I need a quarter. Was it 3/4 of a mile? Because of the 52-meter observation where the little diamond lighthouse thing is. I need to be like 3/4 of a mile in elevation. So whether you're arguing over 35 to 52 feet, which is my position, and whether you want to make it into 100 feet or even 200 feet, you need lots more height than that. So Sly's not been keeping up to date. It's not even contentious anymore. It is contentious for them, but it really isn't in the context of the bigger picture that we're looking at, because we're seeing island in the background on both sides of the island, and that's 140 miles down the left-hand side.
How you doing, Mr.
So I need to be at 2.2 miles.
Can you hear us?
Hello.
Good to have you. Very pleased to see you.
Good to see you. How you doing?
Very well.
Good morning, Mr. Flatcurve.
Hello. How you doing?
I'm good, sir. Any interesting developments recently? Any improvements?
Yeah, I think we got a word.
No.
Yeah.
So yeah. Are you actually saying that you're seeing improvements?
Oh yeah, he's a lot happier.
What about cognitively wise? Are you seeing improvements cognitively wise?
Not as such. We're seeing a more realistic version of him. It's a really weird, hard thing to explain, but he's smart, he's more genuine, he's happier, he's giving more eye contact, and yeah, we got a word. I reckon we got a word.
Are you saying that this is directly to do with what we were talking about, or are you saying that
has to be?
Who are you talking about?
Oh, my son. He's autistic, and Anthony suggested a certain medication, and it seems to be doing something. So,
excellent.
Well, there's two. There's two I suggested. I won't go into the maths and all the science behind it, because maths is the answer to everything. They're both contentious for different reasons. And one of the most interesting ones is what should be, in my opinion, given to Michael Schumacher, because one of them's a sleeping pill, but there's something unusual about it, that it does weird things. PVS patients, post-vegetative state patients, that are the ones that are technically alive, but only because they've been kept alive by machines. These particular patients respond to this particular sleeping drug, and they respond in such a way that they come out of their PVS state and they actually start talking normally, and normal life has been resumed. But it wears off after a few hours. They go back to PVS, and they are not with us anymore. So they give them the sleeping drug, and they're back out of PVSness, but it's only for a short period. But they can talk, they can act normally, they can function as a human. But then once it wears off, they go back to being a PVS patient again. But it's not scientifically recognized by any official science, right? Don't know why, but it's not. But this is something that I find astonishing, that science wouldn't be all over this like a rash, because there is something in this particular sleeping drug that makes them rouse, and they shouldn't rouse because they're supposed to be PVS. So either they don't understand PVS, or they refuse to acknowledge the importance of this particular consequence of a sleeping drug. And that was one of the things I suggested to Mr. Flatcurve. Just try it. I mean, the worst that'll happen is he'll go asleep. You know, it doesn't do anything. It puts him back to sleep. But the best it can do is make things significantly better, because for some reason it stimulates and encourages synaptic communication and transfer of information through the synaptic gaps in the brain. Don't know why. There's no science to support it. I just know that it does. And it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I read up on it, the link you sent me. It's very interesting. But we've obviously been trying the other suggestion you made.
So did you read all the links? I sent you about 4.
Yes, well, I've read 3 of them, and then it got to like 3 in the morning. So,
and then you realise that there's more to this than just one random magazine article.
Oh yeah, there's loads. There's absolutely loads about it. So
they are talking about it now, but this is, I mean, I know it's not to do with the shape of the Earth, but it all stemmed from the Tony Bland case, which was the Hillsborough disaster. The 96th victim of Hillsborough was a guy called Tony Bland, and he was a PVS patient, and he was he died in the end. But it all stemmed from that case, because it went to the High Court and this, that, and the other, and basically all these things started happening legally at the same time that I was doing my dissertation in my degree, because it was hot topic at the time. And it was astonishing when I was doing my research to find out that PVS patients like Tony Bland could be roused with this Zolfadil, or whatever it was called. It began with Z. And I was like, what? Now, obviously, Michael Schumacher's got into his, but they say technically he's not in a post-vegetative state, because he can communicate with his eyelids, apparently, which I'm not sure I believe. But he is effectively knackered. They should give him this and try and see what happens, because the worst that's going to happen is he's going to go to sleep. But if he rouses himself and he becomes out of a PVS thing, but there's no medical science to support it. You see, it's one of these anomalies of science that they can't explain or don't want to explain. Which is, given my view on the shape of the Earth, I would suggest that they know exactly what's going on and they don't want us to know, because it does work. Not all the time, but when it works, they become totally lucid.
Sorry to interrupt.
It's an astonishing study of this all observation. So,
I want to read a couple of comments from the chat. So the first, thank you massively to Ratio Perfect for the super chat, but also DITRH. I'll read his comment. Nathan, have the guy with the autistic son reach out to me. I have an amazing natural supplement that is doing wonders for autistic kids. So that's deep inside the rabbit hole. So if you want to reach out to him, I've forgotten your name now. I'm really sorry, Bruce. Then yeah, DITRH.
Flatcurve. It's Mr.
Flatcurve.
Sorry. Shout out to Mr. Weiss, but I think that Mr. Weiss will be talking about the exact same thing that we're already talking about, because he's obviously been reading into stuff the way that I have, but I studied it from a legal perspective rather than from a medicinal perspective. But we're going to be on the same wavelength, so check Ditrar out. I'm pretty sure he'll give you the exact same advice. But it'll be from a different perspective than what I had it at. But nonetheless, it'll be the same advice, I'm sure. And if it's not, make sure you come back and tell me what it was.
Sure. What was his name again? Sorry.
Deep inside the rabbit hole, Ditrar.
Right. Cool.
Thanks, DITRH.
I've got him. Thank you.
Or maybe Ditrar, if you join while we're waiting for Rumpus to join, perhaps you could talk to us about what you're talking about.
Anyway, I don't want to distract you guys from the flat Earth debate.
Been
So,
joined by the Rumpus. How you doing, Rumpus? Good to have you here.
oh,
Yay.
morning, Rumpus.
Morning.
Well, I guess if we're going to talk on that topic, could you tell us the spectrum you're dealing with?
Me?
Yes, sir.
Well, the only diagnosis we've got is he's moderately to severely autistic. That's the only thing we've been told since he was a year and a half or 2 years old. So that's all we've got from our pediatrician.
Thank you.
No worries.
Keep me posted though. Let me know what happens with what you're doing at the minute, especially if you try that sleeping pill.
Yeah, we're going to stick with the CBD oil for now because it seems to be doing something. So, but I will look into that and consider that in the future for sure. Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks, man.
No worries. I hope it works for you, mate. I hope it works.
Cheers, buddy.
I wanted to say that I've over the last 40. I mean, I guess you guys have been working on the same problem area for about 40 shows. Gruel, it's been tedious, and cheers to all of you who've been working on it. It's been pretty painstaking. I think there's one thing kind of lacking in the whole discussion, in that we've gotten into so much detail in this one situation that we forget that there's so much preponderance of evidence and photographs just like this all over the place.
Yeah, they ignore them though.
The preponderance of evidence is something that I think is really stripped down when we kind of, I mean, again, I'm not saying you guys have done so much great work on this to be so evidentiary, but you know what I'm saying?
I agree.
All the evidence points to a curved Earth.
Right, well, let's see your evidence then. Don't give us all the maths. Don't give us how you did it. Just show us what your results were. And let's see what you've come up with.
Yeah, I haven't been able to do this complete presentation I want to do, so I'm going to have to just give you about half of it, unfortunately.
Just give us the results, man. We don't need to. I'll go and run a bath if you start talking about refraction again.
Sorry, I was going to just touch on that subject, but I was.
Right, all right. Let me make it concise. The only thing I'm interested in is what you think the three lights are, and if you've identified them, let's apply the science to it. We don't.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think we need to agree on the science first. That's the problem, you see, and we also need to agree on
the science with the curvature thing, the curve calcs.
Yeah, but the trouble is, you don't even understand how to use those. So
how do you know I don't understand how to use those?
Because what you said.
Okay, so do you quantify why I don't understand it?
Oh yes, unfortunately, that's one of the bits of the presentation that I haven't. I can do an on-the-fly version, because I do have the material here to show you what you don't understand about. Well, let's just go take it back. Do you now believe that drop is the value to use to determine how much of something is hidden?
Yeah, because we can't see through the water.
Right. Okay. So you used to have. Okay. So that's something I can demonstrate quite definitely, and then we need to sort out, because otherwise you'll be using all the incorrect bits in Metabunk to come up with the things. I don't know if you can see my screenshot here. This is what my full presentation was going to be, dealing with your various claims and other people's various claims. I'm Nathan, and I'm the 3D guy. I mentioned. Oh damn! I meant to put the 3D guy stuff in there as well. And so you've got a couple of maths and physics light claims and your position claims where you think you are, and then there's the claims about the video, and I can tackle about so it comes to about 9 claims. I think there's another one.
We've gone over and over these, Rumpus.
Just tell us why we can see Ireland.
You can't.
Yes, we can.
No, you can't. I can quickly go demonstrate that as a start of my presentation. So the various things there are things like the fact you don't understand drop or hidden, you don't understand how to use the Metabunk calculator, you don't understand how refraction gets involved. You've got your height wrong.
Just tell us
so those are the first
things.
but I could just start off with the basic introduction that I was going to wonder if there are any additional claims besides. Those are the claims I think you've got. And then it comes down here to these other claims about the video, that you can see Douglas, that you can see the peninsula near Castletown, that you can see parts of Ireland, you can see the mountains in Northern Ireland, so the parts of Ireland on the left, the mountains of Ireland on the right, And then all this business about the various heights of things, including the Moorgold Lighthouse, the 3 blobs, 4
All right.
blobs.
Rumpus, can I ask you a question?
You can.
Are you aware that Al Kay and Miles Davis went back to the same observation point and repeated the experiment?
Yes, I'm aware they did that. I haven't looked at their videos though.
Are you aware that given that your claim is that I'm only looking at Isle of Man,
Yeah.
given that Miles Davis and Al Kay did see the Isle of Man, would you agree with me that if they were able to recreate the floaty land on the right-hand side, then this would stop the whole discussion in its tracks? Because that would mean...
Why would that stop the discussion? Because that's part of the Isle of Man. So what's the problem?
So we should
because you can see by the video that they didn't get quite as good of
well, okay, so they could, but when they go there on a clearer day, they'll be able to see the blobs that you did. So what?
Yeah, but the point is they could see Isle of Man, but they couldn't see the floaty land to the right.
Yeah, okay. So when they go there next time, they'll be able to see the blobs they'll be able to see the stuff on the right.
No, but you're not understanding.
I am understanding fully. Just because they went on a less clear day doesn't mean on the next clear day they won't be able to see the blobs on the right. When they go, that'll just confirm your video. What's the problem? I'm not disagreeing with your video.
The problem is, Rumpus, that land is the closest observable point. Hold on, Rumpus, you've asked a question. What's the problem? The problem is the land that we're talking about on the right-hand side of the image is the closest observable thing. So if they fail to get it, and you're saying, well, it needs to be clearer to see this closest observable thing, that seems kind of stupid. Would you not agree?
Well, it's very low, isn't it? So, I mean, that's the problem. The problem with the stuff on the right side
not in
very,
Anthony's
very
picture.
low.
It's not particularly low in Anthony's picture. We just see it. It's clear enough to see in Anthony's picture. And you're saying that we need a clearer day to see it because it's low.
I'm happy with Anthony's footage. I don't need to work with anybody else's footage.
Oh, we've been joined by a sniper.
No, but you do, because what you're failing to understand, Rumpus, is that...
It's all right. Rumpus is already going to get sniped out by Jibby Jedi, it seems.
miles plus away.
We've already got a sniper, so this is going to end quickly unless you listen to what I'm saying.
But he's
right,
not got the
guys, hello. You're going to get kicked out any second. We've just been joined by Jibby Jedi, who's going to kick you all out, because Rumpus isn't going to make his case better for the globe. So they'll inevitably just kick him.
I've kicked Jibby Jedi.
Perfect.
I don't know whether he managed to snipe me first.
No, he's still in. No.
Right, so make sure that we all interrupt if we see these people coming in, because this is really fundamental to the point. Rumpus, I saw 85 plus miles.
No, you didn't.
That's my assertion based on...
I noticed, but I'm working with your video, and you did not see 85 miles plus. You saw the 2 blobs on the right, and I'll show them. I'll show exactly where that came from.
Rumpus, listen. Based on Miles and Al Kay's video, they did see the same island that I saw. However, you can see by their video that the evidence wasn't quite as clear as mine.
Yeah, fine. So you had better evidence. So fine. I'm prepared to accept you've got better evidence.
However, they didn't get the floaty land on the right-hand side that you said was Isle of Man. I got it.
Yeah, because you got the clear day. I accept your evidence. I accept your evidence is better.
Sorry, maybe you can explain this to you. Sorry, I've got to interrupt again. Sorry. Just hold on, Anthony. Hold on. I'd just like Rumpus to explain why low land that is close to us would be more visible on a clear day. Can you explain that to me, please?
Because it's lower. It's very low.
That doesn't make any sense.
Well, if it's not a clear day, then stuff that you can see less of, if you can only see, if these bits of land, which were only a few pixels high, on a less clear day,
they're not a few pixels high in the image that Anthony's got. Sorry. Hold on, Rumpus, shut up. If they are a few pixels high, they are not in Anthony's picture. They're not a few pixels high.
Well, they're very small anyway. And the point is,
sorry, Rumpus, I'll repeat the question because you seem to be obfuscating my question. If the land is closest to us, why would a clear day make it easier to see?
If it was a foggy day, you can't see 100 yards.
But they did see the island.
Yeah, but to less detail than you did. They saw everything to less resolution. They want a less clear day.
But the fundamental point that you're failing to understand, Rumpus, is that I got the island to the right, the floaty land to the right. But when they went back and did the same observation, but it wasn't as good of visibility, they still got the island, but they didn't get the floaty land.
Yes, they got the island to a lower resolution. Obviously, it was obviously they could see a great big lump of Isle of Man, but it was less well defined, and presumably features on it that you've got they can't see either.
Okay, so Rumpus, hold on. Let me just ask Rumpus another question then. So the land on the right hand side that we are describing, was it there? Oh, we've got another sniper in. Pete, how you doing? No, Pete's going to snipe us. So, the land to the right-hand side, was it in Al Kay's image to a lesser definition?
I haven't looked at his video, so I don't know.
Why are you even commenting on it?
Because I'm talking about Anthony's video.
Right, well, you're
That's
claiming...
something
Well,
I'm
his
saying.
position, he's just put
can I
it
ask
to
a
you,
question,
Rumpus, and you've
please?
disagreed. He's just said the land on the right, the closest visible land, was not present in Alkay's video, and now you're arguing with him. Oh, got another troll. Is it Kim?
Make him speak.
How you doing? Say something quickly.
Hello.
It's Lottie.
Rumpus.
Hey,
everyone.
Lottie.
It's me.
Hello, Lottie. Hello.
So, the closest visible land was not seen. That is what Anthony Riley has claimed.
it's
And now
very
you are
small.
claiming that
It
you
was
have
a-
not
it was
seen
a
the video,
misty
Rumpus.
day.
So my question is, why do you even have an opinion on this?
Because Anthony's telling me something about what they may or may not see when I want to discuss his video and the fact, and if he's saying they had a worse day, fine, they had a worse day, which they wouldn't be able to see lots of features that he could see on the Isle of Man. And similarly, they wouldn't be able to see some of the they wouldn't be able to see some of the smaller features in the on the Isle of
is
Man.
that though, Rumpus?
Sorry?
Why?
That was my original
Because the
question.
day was less clear.
Why
It's very
would you
simple.
not be able to... I'll
Look,
say
if it was
it a
foggy-
third
look,
time,
imagine if it
Rumpus,
was
because you
slightly-
seem to be
Hold on, let me make
obfuscating the
this
question
simple.
again.
Imagine if it was
Rumpus, it's all right, I'll ask it
foggy.
again.
The only
Why,
thing you'd be able to make
Rumpus?
out was the dim shape of the Isle of Man
Rumpus,
and nothing else.
Rumpus,
So
I'm
as
going to
it
ask you a
becomes
question
clearer and
clearly,
clearer,
then I
you
want
see
an
finer
answer.
and finer detail.
Rumpus,
So obviously Anthony was on the day
Rumpus,
there. that
no
was
need to
clear
talk
enough
over me.
to see fine
Rumpus,
detail on the
no
Isle of Man
need,
and to
no
see
need,
those
Rumpus,
islands
no
to the right.
need, no need.
Rumpus, can I ask a
I'm going to
question,
ask my
please?
question again. Why would the land that is closest to us be less visible or more visible based on the atmospheric conditions?
Because as it becomes less clear, you lose the finer detail of what you're seeing. And presumably
No.
in Al's video, he has less detail of the Isle of Man as well. Presumably
No, he
there are
doesn't
great
appear.
parts of the Isle of
It's not
Man that
there.
he couldn't see
It's
that,
not there at all.
that Anthony could.
It's not there.
No. Right, I'm gonna put it to you in a simple way, Rumpus. Nath, could you present me to everyone so that when he interrupts, I'll stay on the screen.
It's just on my. Don't worry about it unless you've got something to actually present.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay.
Why are we looking at water here? I can't see anything.
Rumpus, just look at
Hold
the
on,
screen.
hold on. Let's sort out the presentation issues. I can't see what you're presenting because Anthony's not presenting it in the Hangout.
We're
Click on
looking at
that thing.
Alkay's video as it's a
No, I
verification
shouldn't have
of
to
this
do that.
experiment.
Why am I
Rumpus,
having to go around
Rumpus,
clicking on people's-
Rumpus, it seems we can't go any further because you haven't seen that video. Unfortunately for you, you don't have
I
a
want to
horse
comment on
in
Anthony's
this
video.
race. So let's not discuss the Alkay video as you've not seen it.
Great, excellent. Let's go, just concentrate on Anthony's video.
No,
Right,
let's address this. Can you see my screen, Rumpus? The Google
No,
screen?
because Nathan's not sharing it.
No, that's because you're a moron and you need to
Nathan,
click locally on Anthony's.
Nathan, could you
No,
present
let's
the
just
Rumpus,
point out
please?
that Rumpus is
Thank
a
you.
moron and all of
On
the audience
YouTube,
can
he is
see what's being presented, but Rumpus needs to click locally.
Well, why should I have to do that? Why can't you organise this such that the Hangout represents
the
who's
button.
speaking?
Sorry, did you just not hear what I said, you moron? You need to click on Anthony locally.
I know, but then I'll have to click on someone else. So I won't know who's being presented, will
Couldn't
I?
care less, you moron. Just
Come on
click
now,
on his
fuck
face
off.
and you can
Why
see where he's
can't you
presenting.
organise yourself to present in the Hangout what we're
Just
seeing?
move your mouse
click the
and click
button,
on his
Rumpus.
face. It's very easy.
One second.
Nothing has
Nathan,
changed
I
with
did
Google
Rumpus
software, you
to give you a
moron.
presentation, and
Nothing's
you're just going
changed
to
with
abuse
Google
him.
software,
Show some
you
goddamn
moron.
respect, you imbecile.
No,
All I want to do
Rumpus
is, to have
is a
the
moron and can't seem
Why
to understand that to
in
see
the
somebody
Hangout
needs to
see what
click
we're
on them.
seeing in the...
Arwen's joined, so we're going to get sniped, are we? Is that real, Arwen?
Speak, Arwen.
This is purposeful digression.
What
Hello,
is
is
your
that the real
objection to
Al-
showing the Hangout what people are presenting, Nathan? Why won't you do that?
Is that the real
Are you
Arwen?
saying that is purposeful digression and you know it?
Can you hear us,
Rumpus.
Arwen?
Real Arwen, he needed to speak.
On YouTube,
Anthony,
everyone
perhaps you
can
can
see.
explain to me.
Everyone can
What-
see Anthony.
Anthony, why won't Nathan show in the Hangout who's being presented? Perhaps you
It's
can
not.
explain.
It's not down to Nathan. It's down to you, Rumpus. Just click the square
No,
button.
no, it's not. No, normally in a Hangout, he could organise it such that the feed was coming into the Hangout. Why is he
Yeah,
doing
but you
this?
need to click locally to see my feed.
I shouldn't have to do that. We've never had to do that before.
Right, that's
My
not
God,
true.
It's not a constitutional right. Give it up.
Right, Rumpus, just click the button at the bottom.
I will, but I mean, I don't know. Nathan's obviously got some motive for not showing in the
This is
Hangout.
clearly a
Either
big
that or he's
problem for
incapable.
Rumpus.
I'll
Okay,
click on-
look at it this way. There's
Yes,
82
all these
people.
CIA
Rumpus,
all
there's
these
82
fucking
people
CIA
watching right now, and they can see that you're the only one that can't see it because you won't
Okay,
click.
well, why can't I mean? Obviously, Nathan's
Who
incapable.
cares?
Okay, well, I'm now looking
Who
at
cares?
your.
cares, you
Go
moron?
on
Just
YouTube,
click on his
watch
face.
the screen. Everyone can see it. It's not
Everyone can
difficult.
see
It
except
really
I'm
you,
looking in the
stupid man.
Hangout. There's no
Stupid man.
No.
Move your mouse
no,
over Anthony Riley's box and click. You moron.
Moron.
Complete moron. Doesn't know how to use Hangouts. What a moron. Blames me while the entire audience can see everything. What a moron.
Yes, but I'm not looking at the YouTube video. I'm obviously looking at what's going on in the group chat and all sorts of other things in the Hangout.
So worry about your local page and click on him, you moron.
See what's being transmitted, you idiot. You can't.
No, not an idiot.
this
The
properly,
entire
can you?
audience can see it, and you're the only one complaining that you can't, and you're blaming me because you're a moron.
Because I want to know who's being presented. I want to know what's being fed to the YouTube thing without having to have.
Run your own Hangout then, dickhead. Run your own Hangout. If you want to know that, run your own bloody Hangout. I'll worry about that. I'll worry about that. Okay, Rumpus? I'll worry about that. Thank you very much.
Mr. Flackerb, you should have come in much sooner. You're really funny.
Yeah.
Rumpus, can you see the Google screen now?
Well, I'm having to click on your thing, so I've no idea who's being presented, what the feed is to YouTube, because
just
Nathan
click
can't
on my
organise a
thing.
simple presentation.
I can organise it. This is about my 400th Hangout, Rumpus, you moron. This is my 400th show.
This is idiotic that Nathan can't organise it properly. Anyway.
Round of applause for Rumpus.
Round of applause for Rumpus. He's managed to actually click on Anthony's face. Well done.
I suppose I've got to work with the
Simple tasks for Rumpus. Don't ask him to do anything mathematical.
The assertion by me is that the land that we see on the far right is the land that's in the background here, okay? Now, your position is that it's not. However, Al Kay and Miles Davis went back to Isle of Man, and they got the Isle of Man in the foreground, but because the visibility wasn't quite as good, they were only seeing as far as here, Miles, or somewhere of that kilter. So they weren't seeing the land behind it. That's why they didn't get the evidence that I got. Your position is, well, it's just because of the weather on the day. Well, it is because of the weather on the day, but the effect of visibility reduces how far you see. So I could see here.
And it also affects the detail you can see.
That's why they didn't get the land.
It also affects the detail, which you must be aware that if it becomes more misty or less,
requires substance.
Have less detail. It's quite.
Do you understand that detail requires substance, and they didn't get the substance? They only got.
They didn't get the substance.
They didn't get it. Do you not understand what that means, Rumpus?
Are you referring to the conceptual content by substance, or are you talking about the air being having more substance?
I'm talking about the land, the floaty land on the right-hand side of the image. That's the substance. They didn't get any substance to it.
When I get round to my presentation, I'll demonstrate exactly what that land is and the fact that it's featured in Google Earth and in also Peak Finder, and I can explain perfectly where it is.
Yes, but what the problem is, though, they didn't get the same evidence, Rumpus.
So
that means they couldn't see it as far as I could.
Yeah,
do you understand that, Rumpus?
No, you don't understand that on a misty day you can have less detail, so they're going to miss features that are near to it as well.
No, they're not. They can see the
Yes, they are.
features that
Look,
were
if you're in
near to
fog,
Rumpus,
you can't see a tree in front of your face.
Rumpus, they could
if
see.
you're in fog, and there are grades of that to mistiness, you won't be able to see things.
Let me correct you, because misunderstanding. They could see this bit because it was
They
close
wouldn't
and
be
it was
able to see
clear
the
enough.
Then I presume they know what you will find if you go and look at the video. They didn't have the clarity that you did for the whole of the island.
I'm sorry, so you
That's
did
correct,
see the video,
but
Rumpus?
saw all of
Excuse
this,
me,
Rumpus.
Rumpus.
But
Sorry, are you a
of course
liar?
they couldn't miss that whole thing.
Rumpus,
There's blurry
sorry,
version
you've
of
just
it.
directed
It's
him
very
to go and
simple.
look at a
They
video
will
and
have a
describe the
blurry
detail.
version of the
Rumpus,
Isle of Man, and
Rumpus,
therefore the blur would have
Rumpus, have you lied to us?
the
Have you,
island to
or
the right.
Rumpus? Hello, have you or
Hello?
have you not seen this video?
I've already told you I haven't, but I can explain conceptually what's going on.
Why are you explaining something that you have not seen?
Because I understand the issue.
Right,
What,
but you're
for
not
something you've
understanding
not
that my
seen?
visibility was better. I could see
Couldn't be a
further.
bigger
Your
argument from
visibility
incredulity.
less.
What are
They
you
could not.
doing?
You could see more detail because you're on a clearer day.
no,
We could, because we've seen the video and you have not.
Therefore,
Why are you telling
No.
us what we can and cannot see in a video you have not watched? Why are you doing
Because
this?
apparently Anthony doesn't understand the concept
Apparently,
of seeing less
you've not seen
detail
it.
on a less clear day.
What do you mean apparently? You've not even seen it.
But unfortunately, Anthony doesn't
What do you
understand
mean?
the concept
But
of
unfortunately,
not
Anthony,
seeing
I'm
the
talking about
things
you and whether or not you've watched this
less
video
clearly
that
on
you
a
are
less
telling
clear
us
day.
about the opacity of.
Why
Why are you
What's
telling
more,
us
I
about the
know what
atmospheric
those pieces of
conditions
land
and
are.
opacity
I know what
for
those
a
pieces of
video
land
that
are,
you
and I
have
can
not
identify.
watched?
And they are
Why are you
near.
doing this? Why are you doing it?
Why am I doing what?
Why are you detailing the atmospheric effects of a video that you've not even seen?
I'm detailing. I've been just informed that the atmospheric effects were less, and I would expect, therefore, to be a reduction in detail. If you knew anything about graphics,
Based
Right.
on
Analysis.
hearsay.
It's a
You're
reduction
giving us an
in detail.
argument based on hearsay.
detail
Argument from
disappears
hearsay.
if it becomes
So
misty.
based on what you've been
and there was only a
told.
small amount of detail. It's a very simple concept.
Excuse me, it's a simple concept that you've been told about. You are giving us hearsay.
No, I'm not.
Yes, that's
I'm
what hearsay
saying
is.
that if
You have
you
been
make less clear,
informed
you will have
is
less detail.
hearsay.
And I'm
Do you
being
understand
told
what
there is
hearsay
less
is, moron?
detail.
Oi, moron. Do you understand what hearsay is?
Absolutely. You don't understand what less
Do
detail
you
is,
understand
idiot.
what hearsay is? Yes. So what is hearsay?
Reporting what someone else has said.
And you have watched this video, or has someone told you about it?
The only information I've got
Excuse
about
me, do you understand a simple question, moron? Have you watched it, or were you informed?
You seem to not understand a very simple concept. The idea that if something is less detailed, you will
We are
miss
talking
things,
about whether or not you have watched a video and whether or not you have used hearsay.
Hey, Rumpus.
Nathan,
Can you
can
shut
we
up,
just
please,
show a little bit of
Lottie?
respect? And
Don't
get a
defend him
decent
now. He's on the
conversation
ropes. He's
going?
using hearsay. His
I'm
account
not.
Can
is
you
from
just-
someone else.
Names, Nathan.
I'm not saying anything about the video except the concept I've been told that it's less clear.
So
And if you have
hearsay.
things that are less
That would
clear,
be
you will
hearsay
miss
then.
things.
That would be hearsay.
Rumpus,
That
I saw a
would
unicorn on the
be hearsay.
Mr. Flatcurve, shut up. Stop interrupting them.
No,
No.
I want to
was
hear
told by
Rumpus.
Anthony, the other video is less clear. Why are we talking about this other video?
I'm
I want to
asking
about
you
Anthony's
why
video.
you are here with hearsay.
I'm not saying hearsay. I'm not
Right.
quoting anybody except Anthony.
You've just
He's
told me you were
me- he has
informed
told-
about this video.
He has told me the only information I have is the information that Anthony's provided.
So
That it
then
is
you will
less
have to
detailed.
accept
It's
that.
less detailed.
Then so you
it's
accept
less
it.
detailed, and you will miss things.
That's
Quite
not what
simple.
I said. That isn't what I said, Rumpus. What I said was it was less distance because of the visibility.
No,
was less.
you will also know. You said it was less clear, where therefore there will be less.
No, I didn't
detail.
say less
If it's
clear.
less
I said they
detail,
couldn't
okay,
see
all
it.
right then. Okay, whatever you did say, you implied there's less clarity.
No, I didn't.
And if there's less
No, I didn't.
clarity, okay. So okay then, are you saying that the Isle of Man is rendered perfectly as clearly as in your video, and that the
No.
blobs to the right are not? Is that what
I'm
you're trying to say?
saying that they listen carefully, Rumpus. They got the Isle of Man because it was clear enough to see. They
Well,
didn't.
of course,
get-
it would have to be foggy not to see that, you
I
idiot.
wonder why you keep playing these little tricks where you don't even tell people what the data is. What's the temperature? What's the humidity?
We don't need to. We don't need to know that. We don't need to know that. What the point is, what Andy doesn't seem to
Please,
understand.
Please, Rumpus,
He seems to
listen.
think that because they saw a bit of the Isle of Man, they had the same clarity that he did. You could see the
Rumpus,
Isle of Man just
listen.
a vague, blurry outline. which you
Rumpus,
can't
listen.
miss.
Listen, just listen and let me finish before you speak. You will respond afterwards, I'm sure. But let me
Okay.
get my point in. They saw the Isle of Man.
Blurrily,
The visibility was less.
they saw a
could only
blurry Isle of
see-
Man.
Shut up. They could only see somewhere along here as the maximum because of the opacity of the atmosphere. I could see here. They
No,
could
you
only
couldn't.
see there because the visibility was less. That's why they didn't get the floaty land to the right.
No.
Now you
It
can
was more
respond.
blurry, therefore they
No,
could
not-
see
not
less
more
detail on
blurry,
the
not
Isle of
more-
Man.
No. Not more blurry. Let me show you the screen, Rumpus. Let's be clear. Not less detail. They didn't see the distance required to see the substance in the first place.
They didn't see the distance. That's not even English.
No,
If you
they
go
didn't
to their video, I have no
found-
doubt. This is a speculation on my part, but I'm going to speculate that the Isle of Man features that they observed will be done to less detail than the ones in your video. So, for instance, some of the houses and the white blobs that are in the your video, I suspect, therefore, will not be in their video because the detail, the resolution of your video would be greater, and because the detail in your video is greater, you were able to see things on the Isle of Man that were that they couldn't, and similarly, you'll be able to see the thing on the right hand side. That
You're
couldn't.
lying, Rumpus.
I'm
That
not.
is
No,
not-
I don't-
that
no.
is not
Like, how
the
can I be
position.
lying? I've just made a statement about a concept.
You're lying.
That's
I
not
am
a lie. How can I be
not
lying
clearer,
here? I'm not
Rumpus.
reporting on something that did or did not happen.
You're
I'm
reporting
telling you
on
a
something you haven't
concept.
seen, though. You're just using hearsay.
No, my God, you're absolutely so stupid if you can't understand what I'm saying. I'm talking about
Rumpus.
physical properties here. That's got nothing to do with
You're
hearsay. I'm
detailing a
telling
video
you
you've not
that if there's
seen
less
based on what
detail,
you've been
you will be able to
informed.
see
That's
fewer
hearsay.
features. So
I understand what
I'm
hearsay
guessing
is.
here
That's what you're
that
using. Hearsay.
The detail in the whatever his Miles video would be less, and
The
he will
video
have
you've
less,
not
fewer
seen.
houses.
The video
he
you've
will
not
have less
seen.
detail.
You're detailing something you have not seen.
Do you understand the concept of what I'm describing, though? Do you
I
understand?
understand that you've not
for
seen
instance,
it.
if was a
I
foggy
understand that
day-
you've not watched it. You've told us that you've not watched it. That's what I understand. You've told us you've not seen it.
Nathan,
Anyway,
please
can I
let the
get on?
please let the Rumpus finish his presentation before you interrupt.
His presentation is based on hearsay. I'm not interested. Do you understand that, Lottie? What hearsay
show the
is?
Rumpus some respect. He's taken time out of his day to come here and give you a presentation. Shut your mouth and actually listen to him for once.
No, I'm not interested in his hearsay presentation based on what he's been told about some video he's not seen. Not interested in the slightest.
I'm being informed about another video and issues of that, which I haven't seen.
Like you were informed about where the location of that house was, Rumpus. Rumpus, do you remember? Hold on, Rumpus, listen, open your ears, Rumpus. Do you remember when you were informed incorrectly about the location of that farm?
When I made the 4 houses thing.
Yes.
Yes, I've got a presentation on that as well. If you want me to do that.
Sorry, that wasn't my question. I didn't ask. Have you got another new presentation?
What's the question?
Rumpus, did you hear my question? Do you remember when you were informed that the mathematics didn't work out? Do you remember that?
Yes.
Right. So you were informed irreliably then, and now you're telling us about how you've been informed about this video.
No, hold on. You missed. No, you don't.
You seem to have this stutter whenever I point things out that are incredulous.
Let him explain to you, Nathan.
I don't want to listen to his stuttering.
Interrupt all the time.
Stuttering morons who give me hearsay and incorrect information they've been informed about. You've been informed incorrectly in the past, haven't you, Rumpus? Your information is often flawed and incorrect. In spite of his assertions, he claimed that he could identify anything up and down the coast based on maths, and then he got it wrong. So his assertions, based on his information that he has been informed, is wrong and has been demonstrated to be wrong. So I'm not in the slightest bit interested in his hearsay.
And I quickly tried to do that. Quickly in the hangout in a few seconds to go and identify the houses. I happened to not get that right.
Yeah, you got it wrong. So not happened to not get it right. You claimed you could get it right. You asserted that you could identify anything, and then you failed to get it right. You, in fact, got it wrong. You were misinformed. Like you may very well be misinformed now, Rumpus. That's my point. Your hearsay is often unreliable.
Nathan, if you could just calm down, go and share a spliff with your daughter, and come back when you're a bit more chilled. That'd be fantastic.
Have you got my cheeseburger yet, Lottie?
Rumpus, let me ask you a couple of quick questions. Do you agree that as the visibility reduces, it affects the distance in which an object or light can be clearly discerned?
Yes, and the detail of what you're seeing as well.
You said share a spliff with your daughter. That had to suck, dude.
This guy's sniper.
Okay, so if we agree that visibility is affected by distance, what would you suggest is the position where I got very good visibility and could see further, and they got less visibility and were unable to see the land that I could see?
They were also unable to see the detail on the Isle of Man, presumably.
No, forget detail. We're talking.
No, I'm not going to forget. There's several effects.
No, Rumpus.
No. You're obsessed. When you have less
Rumpus. They could not see the land.
Make a point. Now, let me answer. When you have less detail, you will lose things that are smaller. That includes things that are far away. Also, if it's mistier, then the length of the mist means you will see. You won't see things far, but also you will not see things that are small. I mean, it's very simple.
Like the outcrop on the left. Would you say, Rumpus? Would you say the outcrop on the left of the picture? Rumpus. Hello. Verbal diarrhea. Would you say the land on the left is smaller or larger than the land on the right? The very small sliver of land on the left, is it? Hold on. Is it smaller in size or greater in size than the land on the right?
I've did what I was told, and I clicked on Sleeping Warrior. Unless you organise the presentation and the hangout properly, I don't know what you're doing.
I'm asking you a specific question verbally, no visuals required. Is the land on the left, far left of the image?
What left? I don't know. What am I supposed to be looking at? I'm looking at Sleeping Warrior.
It's a verbal, second time saying it, a verbal...
I don't know what land you're talking about. I don't know what land you're talking about.
Okay, we're talking very specifically about a composite image of the Isle of Man, Rumpus, you moron.
You moron.
Yes, you moron.
Moron.
Do you understand what image we're talking about now? Can I move on to my question? Do you understand what we're talking about, Rumpus? Can I move on to my question?
Let the debate go without you.
Hold on, Lottie. I'm trying to ascertain how stupid Rumpus is. Do you understand what we're talking about now, Rumpus? We're talking about the image on screen. You with me? You following, Rumpus?
Don't act like that.
I'm talking to a different moron, Lottie. If you keep interrupting me, I will eject you.
You call us morons, we call you morons. Deal with it.
So, I'm asking you a question. Is this land higher.
Unless you start speaking in respect, I'll keep interrupting with you, Nathan. You can
Right,
boot
then
me
I'm
if
just
you
going to
want,
eject
that's
you. This
fine.
is your last chance,
Try.
Lottie. Interrupt me again and I will eject you. Right.
Go and fuck yourself. You're killing your own daughter, you fucking...
Right, so is this land nearer to us, larger in size, or smaller in size than the land on the far left of the image?
That land on the right is much closer to us.
Is
Correct.
it larger? I'll ask it again. Is the land on the right larger in size or smaller in size than the land on the far left?
In the image, yes, it's obviously smaller. We go a big Isle of Man and small Isles to the right, yes.
So let me get this straight. This 270-foot high ridge here, according to you, if it is the Isle of Man, this 270-foot ridge that is closer to us is, according to you, smaller than the 40-foot high piece of land on the other side of the picture. Is that correct, Rumpus? Failing with your maths again here? Don't understand what smaller than and greater than is.
What, you asking me if that... Which bit you...
I'll ask it a third time while you stutter. Is the
I'm not stuttering.
270-foot high closest to us item now on screen larger than or smaller than the outcrop of land on the far left of the screen? Was that slow enough for you to comprehend?
You refer to its height or its width, you moron?
Height.
Size. Is this
Well, size has width and
bigger?
height, you moron.
Let's say it a third time for the moron. Is
You are
this
utter moron. You
bigger
really are
in
stupid.
size
You've got the IQ of a victim.
or smaller in
The
size?
height you're talking about, or is it the width you're talking about, you moron?
Rumpus, answer the question. It's simple. The elevation of the land on the left-hand side, is it
About the
greater
ele-
than?
I gave it you in feet. I gave it you in feet. I was very clear. Hold on, Rumpus, shut up. I will ask you a third time because you are clearly stupid. I will ask you again, like the first time, with the heights.
Concepts properly because you're a moron.
No, I will ask you again with the heights. No problem. This
Oh, well done, you
270-foot
pawn at
tall
last. Oh, well done,
ridge
Nathan.
that you can see
You
on
have
screen
specified
now,
that
Rumpus,
because you're a
is
moron.
it
So
bigger
we're talking about the height,
or
okay?
smaller
So
than
are
the
we talking
land
about the
on
height
the
above
left?
sea level, Nathan? Are we talking about the height above sea level? Is that what we're talking about?
I'll ask
Talking
it a
about the
fourth
elevation of
time
land.
while Rumpus obfuscates even longer. This
Right, so it
land
looks as though
that
we're
is
talking about the
closest
height
to...
above sea level.
Shut
So
up.
finally we've
I'm
got
asking the
down to
question
what we're
again,
talking
Rumpus.
about.
You don't seem to understand it, so I'll ask it clearly again.
You're a utter moron, aren't you? Okay, so now I've pinned you down. We're now talking about the height.
No, I'm
of the
pinning
land
you
above sea
down,
level.
Rumpus. I'm asking you a question and you haven't answered yet. So,
Okay, great. Okay,
is
here's the
this land larger or smaller
we don't- okay,
than
did
the
you want height
land
again or
on
the
the
width?
left? This is 270 feet tall. The land on
Right,
the
you're talking
left
about the height
is
now.
about
You're talking about the
40
height.
feet tall. Is 40 greater than or smaller than 270? Let's see how well
I
your
will
math
leave that
serves you.
Warrior to answer.
No, I'm asking you.
Well, I don't know what that's got to do. So, are you telling me this land we're staring at here? The
No, I'm
Christian
asking you a
missile 200
specific, simple question. Is
You're asking
this
me the
270-foot
240
ridge
I'm going to say yes. That's
bigger
the question. If
or
the
smaller?
question is 240 greater than 40, I'm going to say yes.
So this land here that is closest to us is
Right.
bigger than the land
What
on
do you
the
mean by
left.
bigger than? You're talking about the height.
Yes, the height.
Yes.
We're trying to refer to the thing. Right. Well, clearly in this image, because
Not
of
in
course
this
we've got
image,
things
in
of different
reality.
distances.
In reality.
Oh, in reality, now you've got two concepts, another two concepts. You see, this is because you, in your little brain,
Still haven't
you
answered
don't
me.
hold concepts. You
Still haven't
can't
answered
link
my
them
question. I've
together.
asked
Whereas
4
I
times.
have a model and can articulate things in detail and
You still haven't answered my
carefully, and
question.
you're incapable of doing it.
You
So now
still
you want me to talk about
haven't
the
answered
physical
me.
height of difference.
You still haven't
and not
answered me.
what's
It's
in
a
the
very
image,
simple question.
Even though
I'll
you've
ask
been
it
pointing
again.
at the image.
I'll ask you again,
You never
Rumpus.
specified what you wanted to know.
I'll
Right, so now
specify
we're
it
talking
really
about the
clearly.
physical height
Is
of the object.
I'll ask it again, Rumpus. The height of the land.
The physical. You talking about the physical height.
You see,
or
you
the
keep
height in
talking over me. You've
pixels?
asked me to clarify, and I'm
Right,
clarifying.
height in pixels or height in meters?
Height in feet.
Right, okay. So now the question. So the what you should have asked at the start, Nathan, was is
No,
the
I've asked
height
a
of
specific
the-
question. Don't tell me what I
Right.
should ask. I've asked you a question.
No,
I don't want to ask it a fifth time. How many times have I got to ask you a simple question?
Sensible question.
Simple question.
So if
Is
your
this
question
bigger or
is,
smaller?
Are the cliffs on the right-hand side a greater elevation or physical height than the stuff on the left-hand side? Well, I would have to go and measure. I suspect I don't know off the top of my head what the elevation of those things are, because there's a beach, there's the clay head to the left of this, and I think that might even be higher, as I remember.
Right, I'll circle it.
side.
Do you see what I'm circling, Rumpus? Have you managed to figure out how to use the Google Hangout software?
Yes.
Right, can you... on the left of this image, the last frame. Do you see the last frame?
Point your pointer at it.
It's a frame. You don't need to have a frame. I don't have to point at it.
I think
it's a frame.
Clay head.
You understand what the word left? You understand the word last? You understand the word frame?
Do you understand that that's clay head? And therefore,
I don't want you to tell me what it is. I just want you to detail if it is larger than or smaller than the land on the right. Simple.
Right, you moron. If I need to know what land it is to be able to tell you the answer,
it's the land
the Eiffel Tower
in front of you. You are looking at it.
Look, you clearly don't understand the complexities of the question you're asking. You're asking me the physical size of
No, I'm asking you if it's greater than or smaller than.
To do that,
simple.
I need to know what piece of land it is.
Well, you're the one who can tell me specifically what it is. You decide what it is and tell me its height. It's the last piece of land we can see on the left.
Do you understand? I need to know
Why are you
what
finding
that
it so
land is
difficult to answer this,
elevation
Rumpus?
Do you understand that?
Why are you finding it so difficult to answer my question, Rumpus?
Because I need to know what piece of land it is you're referring to.
It's on screen.
I can see it in the picture, but then I need to go and find out what that is on a map, don't I, if you want to know about the elevation of it? The physical terms in meters.
According to you, you have already identified everything, have you not?
That piece of land.
Are you telling me now that you have not identified this? Have you not? Have you or have you not identified this? Yes.
You have no idea what question you're asking, are you, moron?
Yes, I know exactly what question. I will ask it again.
Okay, so what height? Okay, you tell me then, what height is that piece of land just there in meters without finding it on a map?
My question to you is simple. Is this greater than or smaller than the land on the right?
And you want it in meters? You're asking about the physical height?
No, greater than... Do you seem to be struggling with simple English now, not just maths?
No, you don't understand whether you're asking a question about the image or the reality of the physical height as a piece of land. Which is it?
Both. Either. You tell me.
Right.
Is this greater than or smaller than the land on the right? Simple question.
In terms of pixels, clearly this thing on the left-hand side is smaller than the cliffs you were showing me on the right-hand side. But of course, what we're looking at currently is much further away. And of course, there's more curve of the earth. It turns out, I think that's called clay head, and I think that's higher in physical meter terms than the cliffs you showed me on the right. I'm not absolutely sure about that, but I'll have to go and check on a map.
So, according to you, last time you were on the show, you could be absolutely certain of every location on the map based on the mathematics.
I can. Okay.
So now you're not absolutely certain.
And I'll go and find it.
Hold on. Hold on. Are you now saying that you are not absolutely certain of every landmass?
No, I am absolutely certain.
But you just said you weren't.
No, I didn't.
That's were your exact words. I can't be certain were your exact words.
Right, that is clay head, as I said, that particular piece of land you're looking at. And it's got according to, let me go and look at my my map. I can tell you what it is. It's clay head you're looking at. I've got a map here. If you had me presenting properly,
I want a simple answer, greater than or less than. I don't need you to present a thing. I just need an answer. Is this land...
I'm showing you the map that I'm looking at.
I don't need to see anything. I just need a greater than or less than answer. This must be the 6th time I've asked. Is this land higher than or lower than the land on the right? That's my question. Simple.
Right. According to the Ordnance Survey map, that height of that piece of land there is about 150 meters, and the land that you are asking about over here is at
problem is though,
less than that. So the land on the right has a lower elevation than the land on the left that you're quizzing me about. There's the answer.
Nath?
Well, if he claims that this land is less is less in elevation. Sorry, the land on the right is less in elevation than this.
Oh my God, you just didn't understand what I said. I just told you specifically that this land is higher in elevation, in physical height, above the surface of the earth than the land on the right, and you've just got it around the wrong way. You're a moron. Unbelievable. I tell you one thing, you get exactly the opposite. What an idiot.
Okay.
You can't remember that you've got this memory of a goldfish, haven't you? And you misreported Geostreber's height that I'd worked out for 160 meters of those 4 houses, and you turned it into 130 because you've got the memory of a goldfish, you moron. And then Anthony had to go away using 130 to try and do all the maths on it and getting it all wrong because you fed him 160.
Can you hear us?
Star needs to speak.
Hello?
God, utter moron.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, listen, Rumpus. You're getting baited, so you need to deliver.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the trouble is I'm too honest. I promise I'm too honest. I'm trying to help be too genuine in my answers.
They want peer review, so deliver them what they want, which is peer review, okay?
Yeah,
review their theory.
It's really straightforward, Rumpus. Alkay and Miles did not get the same structures or same land that I got. The visibility was less.
You're correct.
Why is that,
I accept that.
Right.
They got the visibility was less, therefore they'd see less detail.
So they would see less land.
Yes, they would see less. What don't you understand about if this is a misty day, they would see less detail? What problem do you have with that concept? I cannot believe you can't understand that.
Okay, here's the problem, Rumpus. I'll put it to you in simple forms because it's not going in. You're misrepresenting.
No, you don't understand simple ideas. And even though I explained to you very, very simply, you still don't understand them.
Just listen. When I went there, I got all this land because the visibility was better.
We know that. Why are you telling us everything we all know?
Rumpus, when they went there, they didn't. The visibility
we already
was
know
less.
that. You've already told me that several times. I understand that land was not there in their video. And it's because the visibility was worse. The detail that they were able to see was less than yours.
Do we agree that visibility is a measure of the distance at which land can be clearly discerned? Visibility.
Well, it depends on what it is. If it was the moon, then you'd be able to see something. You could
the Isle of Man.
The
Isle of Man specifically, Rumpus.
This, Rumpus.
Rumpus, the Isle of Man.
I think the detail.
If I can see further, Rumpus, and I can see land, but their visibility is less, they can't see as far, Rumpus, and
they would not be able to see
as far.
That is correct. That is correct. They would not be able to see so far on a less visible day. That is absolutely correct. They would also not see the things near to them as well
because the visibility was less. Does that support me or does that work against me, Rumpus? Because it can't be neutral.
Well, yes, but if the detail of the Isle of Man images that they captured were also less, all you could conclude is they could see less generally. And that would include
this land, though, Rumpus. None of this was repeated.
Sorry?
Why is that? When we know the visibility was less. I'll give you
I missed the start of that question.
We reduced the visibility, Rumpus. We can't see the land in the background.
Correct.
Great. So why is there a problem here?
But also, do you understand that all the foreground detail would be less as well?
But they could see the foreground, Rumpus.
Yes,
they could see all of it
at a lower resolution. It's like saying you can see the moon through fog. You can still see the moon through fog.
It doesn't matter whether it's different resolution.
You would say, it's a lot more blurry. You'd miss all them. For instance, consider this: the craters on the moon. Do you think you can see the craters on the moon? I think this might help, Anthony. I think this might help.
It won't help, Rumpus.
It will help you. It will help.
No, it won't help. We're talking about the Isle of Man and the moon. You haven't gone and seen the video that Alkay has done, but you want us to talk about the moon.
Wouldn't be able to see the craters.
Try and keep on track, Rumpus. Try and focus on the Isle of Man and the closest land that we can't see in their video you've not seen.
Anyway, can we focus on Anthony's video and I can show you where these things are and how we can know that you're not...
Look, if Rumpus hasn't seen the video, he shouldn't be talking about it. So we shouldn't be on this at all. We should be talking about
Yeah, he should try and keep up to date, shouldn't he? You'd think he would watch it. You'd think it'd be really important to him, but clearly it's something that he's just ignored. It's really important to him that he shows us his maths, but not really important that he sees the exact identical observation made by a different person. That he hasn't bothered to look at, because obviously that's not very important.
Because I'm discussing Anthony's
Not very important to Rumpus.
Yeah, but there's a problem though, Rumpus, because we have other evidence now that's newer, that's more recent, that doesn't show this land, and the visibility was less.
Okay, Anthony, I've got one sentence that will explain all this to you.
And if imagine looking at the moon,
hold on, am I going to get a sentence in here?
Don't use the word detail.
Right, here we go. If you're looking at the moon on a clear night, you'll be able to see the moon and the craters.
Couldn't care less.
If it's misty,
Couldn't care less. We're looking at the Isle of Man. I don't care what the moon does. Not interested. We've
And
got
when
other
it's
evidence
50,
for
you
the
will
Isle
not
of
be
Man,
able to see
Rumpus.
the
The moon
crest.
is
And
not in
that's what's
contention
happening
in this
here.
instance, okay?
I know
Do you understand?
trying to prevent me
Do you
from
understand that
giving
the
a clear
moon is not in
explanation.
contention and it's photographs of the Isle of
I
Man
like
we're
you
talking
you're
about?
sabotaging my clear explanation here,
Do you
Nathan. Well done.
understand that
That's
we are not
realness,
talking
is
about
it?
the moon, we are talking about the Isle of Man? Do you understand
I'm
that?
giving you an explanation of a concept here. That
I don't care
clearly
about your
Anthony doesn't
understanding of
understand.
concepts with the moon.
He
We are talking about the Isle of
doesn't
Man.
understand the idea that
No.
you will not only lose
No, we're not going to be
detail,
talking about the
you will not
moon.
be able to see very far.
No.
You will also
We are
be able
not
to see
talking
the
about
things
an
you
object
can
that
see
moves in
less
our
well.
view.
And
We
the
are
fact
talking
that
about a
Anthony
fixed
doesn't
object
understand
on
is
the Earth, as
absolutely
it's the
amazing to
Earth
me.
we are discussing, and not the moon. This land is fixed to the Earth and does not move. The moon is not this object that we are discussing now, Rumpus. Okay?
Tell me, Nathan, if you're looking in your garden, it was foggy. Do you think the trees at the bottom of your garden would be less detailed?
I'm sorry, are you going to now detail the atmospheric conditions of a video you've not watched?
I'm asking you conceptually. Do you
I'm asking you if
understand
you're
on a
going to
foggy
detail
day,
a video
what you
that
can
is
see in your
specifically
garden
about
would be
this
less detailed?
subject
Do you understand
and
that?
the atmospheric
Do you
conditions
understand that?
thereof. Do you understand
Do you
that?
understand that when you have less visibility, you see things to less detail? Do you understand that?
No, less distance.
And also less detail. So in other words, you see
Less
everything perfectly
distance.
clear.
In
still.
fog, I see less
Rumpus,
distance.
Detail's irrelevant. Detail's
You
irrelevant.
don't understand that the detail, it's a loss of detail. That means you
No,
can't see the
Rumpus.
distance.
No, Rumpus. They could see it. Detail is
Yes,
irrelevant.
just like you can
Whether they
see the
could
moon
it
on a foggy
or not.
night, but you
Yeah, we're
can't
not
see
talking
the
about the moon.
craters,
I've
you
just told you
idiots.
this. You keep wanting to talk about the moon. So let's keep you on track
I'm-
of the Isle of Man
this is
and
the-
what we
this is the
can
thing
and
about
cannot
they
see of the
can't
Isle of Man.
conceptualise. They
Okay,
can't
Rumpus?
take
That's what we're
general-
talking about here.
to cope with
We're talking
general
about land we
principles.
see.
No.
Rumpus.
Anyway, do
listen.
we want to talk about Anthony's
No,
video? Because I can show you some things I think you might be interested in.
Just listen a sec. They could see the Isle of Man. They could
Yes,
not
you can see a blurry outline. Yes, a blurry outline.
They could
Or
not
less
see.
detailed.
They could not see this land.
Yes,
This
I know you
bit
said that
is
for the
close
10th
to
time,
us.
and I'm perfectly willing to
Point
accept
out for the
that.
audience again
Rumpus.
that Rumpus is now detailing something he has not seen. He's telling us about the blurry details of
I'm
something he
telling
has
you the
not
concept you
watched.
should understand.
How
Have the
dishonest.
concept on screen.
Telling
Visibility
me
is a
what
measure
something
of
looks
distance.
like that he hasn't actually seen.
The land.
Right. Okay. So now, Anthony, do you think if I said to you the visibility is measure of how far? If their test was of say a tree or something of distance, and then I
It
said,
was of
oh,
the
look,
Isle of
now look
Man.
at the moon or
It was of
bright
the Isle of
light,
Man,
you'd be
specifically
able
of
to
the
see
Isle of Man.
further.
It wasn't of a tree. Just to make
It's
that clear. You've
context
not seen it,
sensitive.
so that's why you think it might be of a tree.
Come on,
I
Rumpus.
didn't-
Stick with it. It's not difficult. They could see the Isle of Man. They could not
Like you can see the moon on a misty night.
Yes, you
They
seem
could
to be
not see
distracting from
this.
this point, Rumpus.
Yes,
Are you
like you
cornered
can't see
again
craters
and
on
wanting
the
to
moon
talk
on
about
misty
something
night.
completely different because you're failing to answer any of the set
No, you
questions?
can't conceptualize.
Seems
You
that way
can't
to the
abstract
audience.
because
Got to be
you're an
honest.
idiot. You can't draw general principles or understand general principles.
We're looking at actual photography. It's not a general principle we're talking about.
Yeah,
It's
and
a
if I made
photograph.
that more blurry, I tell you what. I
What
can
was
put
more
that
blurry?
picture you've got
Sorry,
there
what was more
through a
blurry?
blur filter.
What
Do
was
you know
more
will
blurry?
happen? Do you know
What
will
was
happen
more
when I put
blurry?
that through a blur filter?
An image you've not seen?
The cliffs
This
to the
this
right
more
will
blurry image
disappear,
you've not seen?
But you will still be able to see the
Don't
Isle
tell
of
me
Man.
about
Do
this
you
image you've
understand
not
that?
seen and how blurry it is.
That's
You've
the
not
point,
seen it.
Rumpus.
I could put that
Making
through a
it
blur
blurry.
filter. I could put
Rumpus,
that through a
that's the
blur
point.
filter, and
So
you'd
what?
still be able to see the Isle of Man, but you wouldn't be able to see those cliffs to the right. Do you understand that?
So what?
That's the point,
So
Rumpus.
what?
It's not about the detail. It's about the distance. If the visibility
no,
is less,
understand that the blurring
you
is
see
what's
less.
caused the lack of
If the
distance.
visibility is more, you see more. They
Right.
were able to see this because it was clear enough.
Anthony,
They
do
could
you
not
understand?
see
Do you
this,
understand?
Rumpus.
Anthony,
That
do
can
you
only
understand?
mean
If I was-
that they couldn't see the distance required to see it.
Anthony,
In the
do you
case that we're
understand that
talking
things
about,
become more
that means
blurry?
that they were seeing to
Anthony,
about
if I
here,
put a blur
Rumpus.
filter, Anthony, if I put a blur filter on that photo you've got there, do you understand in Photoshop or something?
You will still see the land, Rumpus.
No, yeah, here you go. That's right. So if
Right.
I were to put a blur filter,
So it doesn't
on
matter
that
about
image
detail,
you've
does it,
got-
Rumpus?
Oh, Natty, I've got an important point here. It might help you. If
It
I were
won't.
to put a blur filter on that panorama image you've got there, you would lose the image to the right, but you would still be able to see the Isle of Man on the left. Do you understand that?
That's rubbish. That's not what
So
would happen.
what?
And
Proves
you know
nothing.
You would still
This
see
is
it,
exactly
but it
what
would be in
happens.
less
That's what
detail.
happens when you have a blurry day, blurry conditions, small
right.
things disappear, big things stay there. Don't you understand that?
All right, I'll send you the link in the side chat. You can do exactly that for us to see because that's BS.
Well, in which case you're arguing with basic physics and basic maths and basic geometry. I mean, it's
No,
incredible.
I'm arguing with you, Rumpus.
No, you're arguing against basic maths
No,
and
it's
basic...
not
Talking
an issue
about
of
reality
detail,
and
Rumpus.
images,
It's an issue of
The
Rumpus.
fact that you don't
Reality
understand
and
what I just
images,
said
not
amazes
maths.
me.
reality
that
and
if you make
images.
something less detailed, the small things disappear and the big things stay there. I cannot believe you can't understand that concept.
Because you're lying, Rumpus. That's not what we're talking about.
It is. When things become more blurry, small things disappear and big things stay there. What don't you understand about that?
You're applying the wrong set of maths, Rumpus.
No, because we're talking about something becoming more blurry or less detailed. I mean, I can't believe you're having a problem. A 13-year-old could understand this concept. Jesus Christ.
I do understand it, but you're
No, you don't. No, you clearly don't.
Rumpus, as the visibility increases, we see further. They got less visibility. They couldn't see as far.
Yes.
Therefore, when they failed to see the land that was up here, it's because I was seeing here.
No, you
don't you understand that?
If you let me do this presentation, I'll demonstrate why you weren't seeing there.
Yeah, but I'm proving why I did, because they failed to repeat it.
You don't understand that less detail means
they failed to repeat it.
And big things stay there. If you don't understand that concept, then we really have got a problem with this discussion.
You're ignoring that Miles's failure proves that we were seeing far away land.
No, all that Miles shows he was seeing I had a more blurry image. That's all.
No,
that's all that shows.
Produce it. There was no substance there. There was no land.
And if I were to blur that, you've never done this, obviously, in Photoshop or in any photographic equipment. If you made it more blurry, small things disappear. That's a small thing, and it would disappear. It's very simple.
Let's do that live. I've sent you the link in the. If you go into the back chat.
But anyway, the point is, in Google Maps and in Peak Finder, I can show that piece of land coming up being connected to the Isle of Man. I can also prove it's part of the Isle of Man if you let me do my presentation.
No, what I want you to do is do what you just said. You said that if we
blur the image... I don't have...
It requires preparation time to do what you want, Anthony, on this.
Another time.
So we should let Rumpus, if you care about peer review, if you truly care about peer review, then we should allow this to be peer reviewed at a later date when Rumpus has time to analyze it. And let him present now on what he's already had time to analyze, which is your theory, which you said in a radio interview that you cared about peer review.
We'll give the guy time. However, let it be a matter of fact, Rumpus, that your claim is that blurring the image will make this land disappear.
Correct.
I'm going to hold you to that statement, and I want you to do that for us next time you come. You're free to speak. Talk about your presentation, sir. Carry on.
Okay, right. So, am I actually screen sharing? Right. So I'm going to try and talk about oops, sorry. Right, so I have no idea what am I being presented or not?
I can't tell the map on screen.
Right, there's a map on screen. Okay, right. So, I was just showing that's what I was trying to find out, the height of that land that apparently I had to know the physical height of that land at a moment's notice, apparently, from Nathan. Right, so these were the claims being made in the video by not just by Anthony, but by other people, including things like the height of things. I haven't gone through all of that, but I can do much of this in what I'm presenting now. I might do something about the drop as well that Anthony's now decided he doesn't understand. Anyway, so here's the situation. Here we have the everyone know, but I just want to just make sure we're all on board. Here's St. Bees in Cumbria, and here we have a heading from St. Bees where Anthony was standing to the Moor Gold Lighthouse on the Isle of Man. Right. So, and this is the image.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Right. You've got to notice why fog and mist is always denser at lower altitudes than it is higher. So everything lower down is going to be less visible.
That's a very good point, actually. That is a very good point, actually. Yeah.
We've moved on from that right now. We're doing something else. So
that was actually a very good point. That was actually worthy interjection. Anyway, so yes, if I could count. So here is the panoramic image made by Ranty. And actually, although I had to make a couple of corrections and he got the land sloping up to the right, I fixed that. And actually, in the end, it's actually not a bad image. So I know we can zoom in there and see, obviously, the various features. There's the Moor Gold. If you can see that, there's the Moor Gold Lighthouse. Here is the Ben Goer to the left of it, which is one of the several interesting points that I was going to go through. I was going to go through 5 or 6 particular points in identifying the locations, the hidden, and identifying them properly. Right. So that, and over here, obviously, we have the 2 lumps of land in that Anthony was describing. That he thinks is bits of Ireland. Right, so what we can do with that image, oops, I've moved the damn thing, don't want to do that, bloody hell. Right, what we can do, having got an image like this, we can go into something like Google Maps or Ordnance Survey or something else and say, right, what's this, for instance, what's this mountain here? What's this peak here? What's this thing here? What's this peak here? And we can find bits, things that we know the bearing of. And so then you can say, right, in this image, I know, for instance, if I identify this peak here at a certain bearing.
Blue Moon needs to speak.
Sorry?
Blue Moon needs to speak. Sorry, Rumpus.
I already have.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear. Apologies. Oh, sorry, carry on, Rumpus.
About how dense the fog is and that.
Okay. Right. So what you can do is you can say, I can find this peak here, which I will overlay what the name of that is in a minute. And this other peak, I think that's Snaffell or North Burrell, I can't remember. And you can say, right, if I've got so many pixels here, and I know that bearings, so I've got the bearings down here, actually, but I'll justify those in a second. But if you can find the bearings of this peak here and that peak there, you can then say, I know how many pixels there are to a degree, because you can find out the degree from, oh, my bloody thing's decided to save. Hold on, this damn thing has just seized on me. So you can say, work out the number of pixels there are to a degree. And once you've done that, you can then identify, once you've got one bearing, you can then identify the bearing on the whole of the land. Excuse me, this stupid thing decided to save when it's clogging up my what I can show you. So having decided this is, so you can say, if this is X pixels and it represents Y degrees, and you've worked out the Y degrees by looking at your Ordnance Survey map or Google Maps or something or other, and you say that's X pixels, you can then say, right, degrees layer. You can then say, right, well, okay, if I then double the number of pixels, I can then double the degrees. So once I've found out the degrees between those 2 points, I can then find out the degrees between these points. And then from that, you can then generate this bearing thing I've got down here on the bottom here, matching those degrees that you found. And you can find out any degree of any part of the map. And we can, for instance, find out here that over here on the right-hand side, it's 258.28 to these things that Anthony is very concerned with. Similarly, we can find out the degrees of the left-hand side, which is 237.32 to this part of land. And we can say, but hold on, well, okay, you might say, well, that's just something I've done with maths or something, but you can then verify it. So, for instance, I can now predict, say, for instance, this is the white blob here, I can say, well, that's at about 241.1. Is there a house there? And of course, there is. And what's more, not just that, of course, if you go into Google Maps, I've taken an image here from halfway between. It looks a bit blurry because I'm trying to make it compatible with the photograph. And people may not understand this, but in Google Maps, Google Earth, you cannot zoom in. You can only move your observation point. And unfortunately, you then get changes in perspective, change of shape. Notice, by the way, the area again that Anthony's got in his video on the right-hand side here.
Rumpus. Can I just ask a very quick question? Sorry to interrupt.
And we have another source.
Sorry, Rumpus, just want to ask a very quick question. When you zoom in on Google, does that change the parallax?
Yes. Because you can't zoom in, unfortunately, in Google. You have to move the observation point.
So it changes the observation. So we have a completely different observation then.
Correct.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, it's going to be related, but for instance,
just to be clear, though, for the audience, what you are now showing us is completely different to the observation, correct?
No, it's very similar.
You just conceded it does change the parallax, correct?
No, I told you that zooming in Google Earth. Okay, if I look at this diagram
sorry, I've just got clarity. When you do what you have done and changed your observer position, it completely changes the parallax, therefore completely changes the image you are looking at.
Well,
you conceded this. This is
what
correct.
So
what we are looking at in Rumpus's demonstration is a wholly inaccurate representation of what we see from some bees on Google Earth. No, it is not. The parallax has changed. This is wholly inaccurate. Wholly inaccurate because the parallax has changed. Correct? Correct?
Right, here we go.
So no, not here we go. The parallax has changed. You're about to represent something that is entirely different because of the change in parallax.
No, it's not entirely different. I didn't say it was entirely different.
I'm saying it.
You do get.
I've just said it. Sorry, did you not hear me just say it? I'm saying it right now. You are presenting something entirely fallacious because the parallax has changed, because you have no zoom. You have no zoom, therefore you have changed the observer position. This in turn entirely changes the parallax of the image.
No, it doesn't
entirely. Yes,
it doesn't entirely change it.
Does.
No. But I would what it will do in Google Earth.
Yes, it changes the parallax. That's correct. You already conceded this
to some degree, but you could minimize it.
So some degree is a change. Correct?
Yes, of course it is. A small change.
That is my objection, you moron. That is my specific objection, you moron. It has changed, you stupid moron. Your presentation is using something that is incorrect. It has changed.
It's not incorrect.
Yes, it is. The parallax is different. The parallax is different.
And a big error.
Yeah, the parallax. That's incorrect now on your Google snapshot because you don't have Zoom. You've already told the audience that. You don't have a Zoom. You've had to change your location, and that changes the parallax.
And that's what Ranty did that screwed up his analysis of where he was in your your QED video.
Incorrect. It matched the exact locations on a LiDAR scan of the land. Incorrect. The landmarks and landscapes visually matched accurately. That's a fact.
So here we go.
If you want to go and check it out, you can go and watch Ranty match them, and they are a match. Absolutely, unequivocally, nobody would deny it, Rumpus. What you're doing, what you're showing us now, what you're showing us, this image is incorrect. The parallax has changed. This is not what we see. You have just conceded this. You do not have Zoom. You have to change your viewer position. So therefore, the parallax of these mountains, even if it does match what is here, is not what we see from St. Bees. The parallax has changed. This is completely and utterly fallacious. The presentation, Rumpus, is over.
It's quite accurate.
Can we like replace the image that's in contrast right now and just use the one below it? Is that okay with you, Rumpus?
This is peak find. I don't think you can still see this. I don't know what.
I will explain for the audience again. Rumpus has presented an image. Shut up, Rumpus. I'm going to detail what's just happened.
This one does not have any parallax.
Shut up. When you change your position in Google, you change the parallax of the peaks. So he has moved his position and is now trying to present something that is inaccurate against Peak Finder. That's what he is doing, and I'm not going to allow it. The parallax has changed. We no longer have the same view in Google Earth. It's a complete nonsense.
The Peak Finder thing with the
I know what you're doing, and I've stopped. You're not presenting anymore. You're not going to show an overlay of something that has had the parallax changed. No.
Can you see how?
No, I can't see. You're not presenting. The audience won't see either. You're not going to show me a different view with a parallax change matching to Peak Finder. No, you're not going to do it, Rumpus. Sorry, that's the end of your presentation. Find something better. Find something with accurate parallax. Just for the audience's benefit, when Chris Monk modelled it, he spent days accurately programming in the parallax change based on the focal length of the zoom. Rumpus has given you a disclaimer. Shut up, Rumpus. Rumpus has given you a disclaimer that the parallax changes because he has no zoom. When we gave a demonstration...
Look what the field of view is. When you do that, you can see that this is the section of the Isle of Man that Anthony could see from this.
No, the parallax has changed. That's why I've taken you off screen. We've already had the concession. You have already conceded that the view is different. You explained it by detailing that you had to move and you had no zoom. Shut up. Shut up. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth, moron. Shut your mouth, moron, liar. Shut your mouth, moron. Shut your mouth. Shut up. No, shut up. You're a liar and a moron and you're not going to talk. Shut up.
Also, the features of Peak Finder on the right-hand side
Rumpus,
there
shut your mouth.
Parts of the Isle of Man.
Rumpus, you're not presenting, no one's seeing you. Shut up.
Panorama as parts of the Isle of Man. Google Earth shows them as parts of the Isle of Man.
With a different parallax.
All parts of the Isle of Man.
With a different parallax.
The photograph.
With a different parallax. You're showing me a different parallax view from Google Earth versus a cartoon of Peak Finder, and it is totally disingenuous, totally dishonest, totally fallacious, incorrect. Nothing you are showing is useful. You are useless.
So anybody who asks you anything about anything outside that field of view is not in the panorama. So, yeah, hello.
Right, I was listening for a bit, and then I got a phone call, so I've missed the main point of what you said.
What Rumpus has done, I'll explain Rumpus. What Rumpus has done is he's moved the position in Google Earth, subsequently changing... Shut up! Subsequently shut up, Rumpus. subsequently changing the parallax of those mountains.
No, I haven't
He has
done
then
that.
taken
Not
the
Peak Finder.
adjusted parallax view and matched
Not
it to
in Peak
Peak Finder and is claiming that this means it's correct.
Not in Peak Finder.
Wrong.
Peak Finder view, you can see here.
I'm not. You're
No,
not. No one's seeing it, Rumpus. The parallax
Alright,
is
so what we-
incorrect. You've just
Nate,
explained this.
I'm
Let's
showing here the Peak Finder layout.
let's test it, and we'll apply what he's done, because we did this
So
maybe
he's not.
20
So,
shows
so
ago.
the viewers of this are not able
No,
to see
because it's
what-
incorrect.
what
The
I'm
parallax doesn't match. You have to move your viewer position in Google, and you
Right.
don't have a zoom.
Okay,
You
well,
explain that to the
if I
audience.
can't
So
actually
why
see
would I
it
care
perfectly-
what it looks like from the middle of the
Yes,
ocean
I'll-
when
I'll
compared
go-
to
I'll
a
go
cartoon
then.
in Peak
Rumpus,
Finder when the
I'll-
parallax is
Rumpus,
wrong?
Rumpus,
If the
can you
parallax
continue
is
the
wrong,
presentation
I don't
now
care
to
what it
give
looks like
them-
from the middle of the
I will be
ocean,
making this
especially when
presentation
Chris
on my
spent
channel,
days
on
programming in
channel,
how
on
the
GSP
parallax would
channel,
change
all
based on the
that.
focal
Anthony,
length,
would you
the
like us
exact
to have a
focal.
one-on-one
Shut up,
about this?
Rumpus! I am talking.
Anthony,
Shut up.
Would you like a one-on-one presentation, one-on-one debate?
I'm
hangout?
talking, Rumpus. I'm explaining how
Anthony,
Chris
do you want a
factored
one-on-one
in
hangout about
the
this?
exact mathematics and programmed them
Anthony,
in
do you
based
want
on a
a one-on-one hangout
P900
about this?
at its zoom length and the parallax
Anthony,
that
do
would
you want a
occur
one-on-one
as a
hangout about
result.
this? Because
You
clearly
have
I'm not even
not.
being allowed to
You have
present
just simply
information
moved your camera position in Google, subsequently
Anthony, do you
altering
want
the
a one-on-one
parallax of the
hangout about
mountains.
this?
That's the end of your presentation. Sorry.
Anthony,
If you don't like
hang
it, tough. Do a better
Rumpus.
presentation.
Do you want a
Don't
one-on-one
alter the
hangout?
parallax.
Rumpus,
Don't
here now.
alter the
But
parallax.
unfortunately, I can't present my information, can I? So
You can't present
so if
fallacious
I'm being
information
censored,
with
there's no
incorrect
point in it.
parallaxes of the mountains. No, I won't allow it.
Anthony, do you want a
Absolutely not.
one-on-one hangout?
All right,
I'm
stop,
happy
gents,
to do it on your channel, on GSG's channel, or my channel, or the Earth Discussions
Nathan,
channel.
Let him demonstrate his point, and then
No.
we'll try, because we've done this before.
I don't
Let him
care.
demonstrate,
I'm
and
not
then
going to
we'll ask
allow
him where
him
does
to
the three
tell the
lights line
audience. I'm going to
No,
tell you this,
Anthony, can we just
Anthony,
go to
right?
another
There
hangout?
is no way
No,
on
go to
earth
another hangout,
he's
Anthony.
going to tell
No.
the audience that he has no zoom and he has to move his position in
Anthony,
order
should we just
to
go to
match
another hangout?
something
It's
on
clearly
Peak
not going to
Finder.
allow me to
No,
present my information.
that
Oh, there's no
alters
point.
the parallax. I have watched Chris Monk programming in the parallax change
He was
that
an- he's an
occurs when you
imbecile,
use a
a complete
P900.
imbecile. I've never
He has
known
gone to the
anybody
nth
misuse
degree
3D
to make
program
it
quite as
work
much as he did.
accurately.
He's
I'm
an
not going to accept
absolute
this.
idiot.
I'm
He
going to
didn't
move my
understand
position in
drop it.
Google, even though it changes the
He's
parallax.
such an idiot. He didn't
No.
know what drop it. That's how
Absolutely,
bad he
it's
was.
inaccurate,
He didn't know what
incorrect,
drop is.
it is
You, of
wrong.
course, don't know what
It
drop
is
is.
not going
And
to
of
be
course,
shown to
Anthony
the
doesn't know
audience
what drop
because
is.
it's
You don't know the
fallacious
difference
and
between that and
inaccurate
him, 'cause
and
you're a moron.
incorrect. So no,
So, Anthony,
he will
do
not
you
get
want
his
to one-on-one
opportunity to
hangout?
show
Because
it.
clearly
Right,
No.
I'm not being able to get my information through here.
Becoming a, this is basically you can wave the biggest dick over the red, right? And all we are interested in is what is the facts. And the whole point of you coming in today, Rumpus, was to show us whatever it
Yeah,
was
and I
that
was
you were going to
getting
show
to it.
us. Stop,
But
wait, don't
I
interrupt,
got
please.
sabotaged by talking about this in the
Please.
video.
Rumpus, please, I'll let you speak for
Okay,
ages.
okay, carry on.
I'm going to ask you a question, right? And just give me a yes or a no. Are you able, based on all of your research to date and all of the GeoStreamer stuff and all of the other things that people are talking about, are you able to tell us exactly what the three lights are on the far left
Yes,
of the
I am.
picture? Right. Could you show that so we can see it, please?
Okay. But I
That's
can't. Well, I
what we
can't.
want
I'm
to
not
know.
being allowed to show anything, am I?
Nathan, would you present
As soon
him
as
and
he's
let
got
him
him on
stay on
screen,
point
I'll
and
put him up.
see what these three
Yeah,
lights are?
no problem. You let me know when you're ready, Rumpus. When their three lights are on screen and I can see that picture of the three lights, I will present you.
Okay, I've got.
There we go.
Hold on. Let me just get to them. It's down here somewhere. Where did I bloody put them? Here we go. Oh, stuff the trees. Here we go. Four white. They're actually four white blobs. Can you see that?
Yep, you're being presented, Rumpus.
Right. So I was asked in a hangout to identify. I don't know if these are the four. They're actually four blobs there. These four blobs are next to the tuft of trees. To the left of the tuft of trees. I did. If I had time, I'd put in context. This is so. I'll show. So this. I'm zooming to the where this is just in case.
Okay, Rumpus, stop. I've seen enough to be able to work out what your three dots are. Could we critique them based on what you've just shown? That's all I need.
I can do it very quickly. Just give me a moment.
But
So
I've got the I need now. I've got it.
Sorry?
Can we check it?
Well, just give me a moment. And I was identified. I will only be. This is only take 5 minutes. So I can. These were the four blobs that I was identified. And I just simply. I thought, looking at this. This is the image that I looked in Google Earth, and I thought, aha, those four houses there were the four. But that was because I was in a hangout. I only had a few seconds to do it. I just simply identified that. But of course, when you actually come to check the compatibility with that, what you find, these are the 4 houses. There are actually 6, of which you can see 2, and you can see things like the angular width of those houses was 0.2 degrees. So in other words, the width, the distance between that side and there is 0.2 degrees, as you can work out on this 627. Sorry, yes, on Google Earth they're 0.2 degrees, but you can see here that they're only the 6.4 to 7.4 is only 0.1. So immediately I should have been a bit suspicious. Then I also did the calculation on the height. Here is the 4 houses in the on the Ordnance Survey, and when you actually look at the height, as I then did after, as indeed actually Anthony did as well, I then found, as Anthony pointed out correctly, that they would put you beneath the horizon. So these are the 6, 7 checks that you should really put into action when you're trying to identify something in pictures. So you should obviously get the bearing of the thing right.
Oh, we don't need this. We just need to know what you've identified them as. Don't need to check your maths that you got wrong on the fly. Don't need any of this. Are you happy? You're satisfied, Anthony, that he's giving you an identification of these buildings or not?
Rumpus, you've really done enough now. I don't need to see any more. Can we just critique the point that you've just made, please? Okay. I don't need any more.
Well, I've just said how I was wrong, and I'm about to tell you where I do think they are now. So I've told you where they're not. So I've just been telling you where they're not. So I'm just showing you in this picture, these are the 4 houses I initially identified, and for various reasons they're not the houses, but I can now tell you where they are.
So you've just gone through your mistake that you made last time where you got it wrong. Yes. Okay.
That's right. So, I haven't finished off this part of the presentation. I can actually go through now where the houses in question are actually up here. And which is this house. So I haven't quite finished this part of the presentation, unfortunately, which is this. And the way I work, that's right. Right. The way I worked that out is
sorry to be rude, Rumpus. Can you just put on the location that you think they are again, just for a few more seconds, just so it's really clear on screen?
Just establish how I got there. Here's the top of the trees.
Can you just show it on screen so the audience can clearly see what you have identified in Google Earth are these houses? Can you just show that on screen, please?
Yeah, just give me a few seconds more. Just a few seconds more. There's the tuft of trees. There is a farm just below the tuft of trees, which is this farm here. And if you move along to the left, as you do here, and then use the same bearing that I had before, you then come across these. That's the tuft of trees one. In fact, yes. So you use the same bearing. This is the bearing to the 4 houses. You come to this farm here. There. And that is of the right width. And this is this farm here. It's called Barus Farm. And
for Americans, that's further away.
Oh, so I didn't finish off that part of the presentation. Oh, there we go. Right. And you might be asking, oh, well, I know what's going to come next about I haven't got the bloody screen grabber.
Rumpus, I have a problem.
That is further away.
Okay. What's the problem?
Could you pick one of them 3 houses, please? And then would you save the line so it goes red, and then present the elevation map of it?
Okay. You want me to share Google Earth, in other words?
Yeah, just pick one of the houses, any of the houses. You didn't leave it on long enough for me to see which houses that you're referring to.
Okay, sorry. Okay, is it not? Am I still screen sharing?
You are. Like I said about a few minutes ago when you asked for a few more seconds, I said, can you put the exact location that you've identified on? You said, give me a few more seconds. Now Anthony's asking the same question.
It's these 4 houses here, and I did mean to do a screen grab.
Sorry, Rumpus, can you leave them on screen for more than just 2.5 seconds so that we can see them, please?
I'll tell you what, I'll screen grab it in Google Earth.
No, just put it on screen. Why are you so awkward?
Because you're not going to get the detail you want. There they are there.
Zoom in.
But I can also do it in Google Earth. If you give me a moment,
zoom in.
I can zoom in and give you a much clearer
look now. It's easy. It's on screen now.
Well, it's not very detailed. It's very blurry.
Oh, I'm sorry you're incapable of producing a decent image and you have this problem with blur.
I did not prepare that. I must admit,
yes, you prepared a terrible image, Rumpus. I'm sorry for your inadequate preparation skills and low-res images.
Can someone just explain something to the dumb American real quick? Is Rumpus proposing that we can actually see further than we initially thought?
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Okay, just checking.
But what I want him to do I want him to pick one of the lights that he claims is a house. I want him to save the line so it goes to red. And then I want him to present the elevation profile. It's very straightforward.
Okay, yes, you. So I have to go to Google Earth to do that. That's why I'm going to Google Earth as you want. So if you
hang on, you can't show it, can you? Right.
I can. If you just give me a moment, I'll screen share Google Earth and do exactly what you're asking me to do. Give me a bloody moment.
Give him a second.
Okay.
He's finally sorted out Google Earth so it works in Hangouts.
Right. Can you see Google Earth now and the image of the houses?
Yes.
Right. So there's the tuft of trees. There is Baldrine. Here is Balak.
Can you turn that into an elevation line, please, Rumpus?
Okay, let me just do that. Seem to have got one here already. Annoyingly, let's just move the blood. Let me just delete this current one. I'll draw a new one in. Let's mash this shit. Okay, here we go. So here's the elevation line.
Nathan, if you let him go, he may prove that we can see the other side of the island even. So
right.
we may even get more distance.
There we go. There is the... I've not got it quite on there. Just move it onto the...
Okay, so just now save that line, Rumpus, and then open the properties and show us the elevation profile of that land.
Can you not see it down here?
Can you see it? Save
it so it goes red.
Yeah, well, but can't you see? Does it not screen grabbing the elevation profiles didn't display?
Yeah, you're right. Apologies. All right, so I'm just want to see the house. So, of them 3 houses, are you absolutely sure that them 3 houses are one of the houses that you've got identified?
Correct.
Okay, great. So let me just get that on my screen so that I'm on the same house. I just need to. Okay, so could you tell us what the elevation is of that, please?
That's
154 meters.
55 meters.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a line in from that building, which will be this one.
Hello.
So I'm just going to get the distance involved here so that we can do the geometric maths.
Hold on. Can you hear us? Fedumbi?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, this is P. Myers.
Good to have you.
All right, so Rumpus, can we get a consensus on the distance? I'm going to claim that that's 38.5 miles, 38.6. Is that okay for you?
I've got it in meters. Let me have a look what I've got in miles. Hold on, I have to go and select the. Let me select the right bloody thing here. That's to the right-hand side. I think that's the one. In miles, I think that is 38.5. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I get a 38.58. So we'll go with 38.5. That's fine.
Yeah, fine.
Could you bring up the Metabunk calculator thing and put in 38.5 for the mileage, and then for the elevation, I want you to put in whatever value you wish.
Let me just screen share that. Can you see that?
Sure.
Right.
38.5. Now, what are you going to use for your viewer height?
Your viewer height is 140 feet. If I can do it in meters, I know it's 35. So
how do you know it's that 100 and what? Sorry, 135 feet.
115 feet.
Where's that
135 feet. All right.
Where's that number?
So 115 feet.
Now, let's pick the value that we're going to use here. Now, this is going to be contentious.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to do the initial presentation to explain to you about drop.
I'm going to assert that it's simply the drop without refraction.
No, and you're an idiot if you think that. And I can explain why in great detail.
You tell me why it's not.
Okay, I can show you that. Okay, right. Because the drop is all about what happens if you have no observation height. That is what drop means. And I can show you in a diagram here. Right. Can you see this diagram? Am I showing that? Oh, no, so am I not showing? Oh, no, sorry, I'm not showing that, am I? Bugger, sorry. My fault. The fact that you've gone back to this, Anthony, just amazes me. The fact that you've now, let me just remove some of this.
He's going to show us that we look down, right?
Yep.
That we look at the ground to see.
Right. It's just slightly confusing. It's got this diagram's got a few more things. I just have to remove a few things to make it a little bit clearer for you.
Because I always look down to the ground to look out.
Yeah.
Did you look down, Anthony, when you were taking this observation? Was your camera pointing down?
Certainly not, Nath.
Oh, right. Rumpus, there seems to be a problem already.
There is a better point. So
seems to be a bit of a problem,
Rumpus.
Rumpus. He wasn't angled down. He wasn't
right,
angling
here we
his
go.
camera
So
down.
here we have 2 observers. Can you see these 2 observers?
Yeah, they seem to be angling their cameras down. Anthony Riley wasn't doing that.
Right.
Hang on, let him finish.
Let him finish. See my pointer?
Yes, sir.
Right. Drop. I mean, this is a novice flat Earth error. You can't occasionally hear flat Earth say, "Oh, if you use the x squared times 8 inches," I think, which is all about if you're at 0 height. Effectively, if you use drop, you're saying you're at 0 height. So this is what drop is defined as, and that's why it's not shown in the diagram that Anthony's random, because that idiot from the 3D modeling guy doesn't understand what drop is. But here's what it is. Drop is when you're at 0 height and it's a tangent. And so it's this value here. So if we have a building here, the drop is if you're at 0 height, how much the land has dropped relative to the tangent. But of course, that's just for 0 height. And we know that 0 height makes a huge difference because you can see here, as you move up, the horizon moves vastly far away from where you are. And then this is what's called hidden, this area, which is the value that Anthony was using until the idiot from the 3D modeling thing told him to use drop. And you can see there's a vast difference. One is all about having 0 observer height, and the other one considers observer height. Drop is all about no observer height. So if you use that for a complete idiot.
Misunderstanding how drop works, but we can get past that. Let's come back to that later. With
Has he
regards
worked
to the
out
elevation,
that value for himself? Does he know how much should be hidden for himself? In whatever calculations he wants to do, does he have a value of what should be hidden in his world?
You're talking about how much? You're talking to me.
Who are you talking to?
To Rumpy. Does he
yes,
have
I've
a value?
got exact values for how much should be hidden. Yes.
So how much should be hidden?
Hang on. I want to stay on this track because this is good. All right, so let's accept that Rumpus has got this correct, right? I don't accept it's correct, but let's move forward.
Anthony, you really ought to.
I don't care.
Even stupid flat earthers get
I'm
this.
accepting your point, so I'm going to move forward, okay? The elevation you put me at, could you just remind us what my elevation was according to you?
Yeah, and let me just change to my other.
Did you say 150 meters?
No,
15
feet, which is 35 meters.
35 meters. All right. Can you tell us what the elevation of the farm is?
The elevation of the farm was 100. I did that just now.
It was 145 meters. I think that's correct.
So relative to the farm, Rumpus?
No, it was 155.
155.
All right. So
158 something. 155, 158 meters.
Okay. So relative to the farm, Rumpus, am I below the height of the farm or above it?
Well, on a curved. Well,
oh dear.
Relative to the
dear.
Earth, you're obviously
genius, Anthony. Do you want to answer his question? Back to this again. See if we have to ask it 5 times. Is he below or above that farm?
Right, but don't you understand that?
I understand what you've just explained about drop. Yeah, I understand it entirely. Now, based on what you've just said, this all kind of falls apart, doesn't it, Rumpus?
No, it doesn't. It falls together.
No, it falls apart, Rumpus, because if
together,
observer height.
Right, Anthony. So you
see when you ask a question like that, the paradigm of the ball becomes so nonsensical because the answers become nonsensical at that point. You're trying to tell me that you can't compare those two elevations because we're on a ball. That's nonsensical.
Right, here we go. I'll explain now. If you think of Anthony as being the A1 observer at a particular height, and imagine that this, I've got it as a building.
A particular height being below the thing he's observing, right? He's below it, right?
Right. Well, but below, this is why I've drawn. This is something that flat earthers don't understand. What up and down mean.
I understand he's below it.
I've got a very important point to make, Anthony, which may help you a lot.
You don't know what up and down is.
You see the up and down for this person here. You see the up and down. Hold on, Anthony. I've got a really, really important point that I hope you understand on the spherical geometry. Do you understand?
I think it's time you listen to him. You don't seem to understand the position that you're looking at these objects from, Rumpus. So I think you should listen to him.
No, I've got a very important point. It's very simple. It takes 5 seconds, 10 seconds. For this observer here, down points to the center of the Earth, and for this person over here, for the house or whatever it is you're looking at, down points in a different direction.
5 seconds are up.
And down,
right, now you listen to him. You've had your 5 seconds. Now shut up. You've had your 5 seconds. Shut up.
Nathan,
you've had your 5 seconds. You wanted 5. Clearly, you don't understand time.
Anthony, do you understand that up is different direction for the up somewhere else on the planet?
Up's always up, Rumpus.
It's up. It's away from the center of the Earth.
Do you remember how when we were discussing with Paul how reduced means get smaller, and Paul wouldn't accept the definition of the word reduced? I think we know what up means.
See, right, so you don't. This is it. You see, this is your problem. This is the problem that flat earthers have. They
No,
think that
Can we have a definition of
this is the problem with the paradigm in that it conflates on itself because it makes no sense to say up and down on a ball.
Because up and down on the earth means up and or away or closer to the center of the earth. So someone who's here, observer at A0, where Anthony is, up is directly away from the center of the earth. And for something way over here like this planet, or it could be that house in Balakanal, up is a different direction. It's only very slight in the Balakanal case, but if you were looking at somewhere very far away, the up directions are very, very different. This is something the fighters do not understand.
Rumpus, is it your contention that you can never compare these two elevations and say which one is higher?
Compare them to the center of the earth. You can see how far you are away from the center of the earth, and that's the elevation that Google Earth gives you, and the Ordnance Survey gives you. They give you elevations relative to sea level. Of course, the sea level is a constant distance away from the center of the earth.
I would agree.
You can imagine this is sea here, this blue line, and that is a constant distance from the center of the earth. And your distance, your height, is your distance away from the center of the earth.
So based on that, Rumpus, he's actually sorry, Rumpus. Based on that, he's actually leaning backwards then. So he's tied to the center of the earth, and versus his observer thing, the thing he's observing, he's actually leaning away from it, leaning backwards because he's fixed to the center of the earth, right?
If this building, if you want, there is a lean relative. You were
I'll just
standing
ask
up.
Anthony. Sorry, Anthony, were you leaning backwards when you took this observation? Anthony, sorry, I'm asking Anthony a question in regards to the actual observation. Were you leaning backwards? Shut up! You've explained it. I've understood. Now I'm asking a question about the actual observation, not the maths. Now shut up. Were you leaning backwards, Anthony?
No.
Oh.
Right, and do you know how...
Seems to be a bit of a failure. He's not tilting the camera down, and he's not leaning backwards.
You always lean the camera down when you look at the horizon, very, very slightly.
Right, that doesn't look slight. This diagram doesn't make it look slight.
This scale is for 6,000 miles, I've demonstrated here to exaggerate the effect. I've shown you before what it looks like at... to scale. I'll show you again to scale.
And you've said that we can't account for the drop unless we're at equal heights and there's no elevation to take into account. And we have pointed out that Anthony Riley is below the level of the farm. You've then obfuscated that point completely. So maybe Anthony can reiterate it and explain the problem to you.
As painstaking as it is, I think he's going to hang himself. So let him finish. I think he will.
Can I give my proof?
I want to show you the scale, what Anthony was doing in the what Anthony was doing. I can show you to scale the situation he was in. Here we go. Where the bloody hell am I putting that?
I was reading this book, Impact of Science on Society, 1953, page 49. It says, scientific societies as yet are in their infancy. It is to be expected that advances in physiology and psychology will give much more control over individual mentality than they now have, even in totalitarian countries. Fitch laid it down that education should aim at destroying free will, so that after pupils have left school, they shall be incapable throughout the rest of their lives of thinking or acting otherwise than as their schoolmasters would have wished. And I think Rumpus is a perfect example of this.
Right.
And with that, I'm going to say, first and foremost, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in, super chatting, and sharing this show. Also, a massive thank you, of course, to all of the live panel for joining and making this debate possible. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.